Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good. Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
The L-TAC Cup Series continues to produce action-packed races and finishes. Last week, no different, with Holden McGill banging to the line with Joseph to win in Atlanta. Tonight, these drivers are tasked with a high-octane challenge under the hot virtual sun, with a road course featuring 9 right turns and 6 to the left. Welcome, race fans, to Pit Stop TV. Trey Patton joins me virtually on the mic this evening. Emerson Ardon behind the scenes. Trey Shuttlesworth is on social media coverage, and I'm Noah Carmichael. And this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the L-TAC Cup Series at the virtual Sonoma Raceway. We thank you for tuning in across our multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter tonight. We join you from the virtual wine country as we get prepared for an exciting night of racing as these drivers prepare to go 45 laps around the California hillsides for the 4th round of 29 on the L-TAC Cup Series. Trey, we've seen a lot of good races take place at this track over the years, both online and in real life. What can you expect to see from these drivers as they get prepared for what could be one of the hardest races of the season?
Considering some of these guys aren't new or aren't used to the new layout, so some of these guys are used to the old Cup layout. So tonight will be featured. You'll see the interior part of the road course from what you can kind of see on the broadcast here. You see them going into more of this. I guess you'd call it more like a horseshoe. I guess I can't really think of the terminology right now, but instead of going straight down that front straightaway, second straightaway, they'll be actually going in and doing a little more turns. As mentioned, you said, I think, 9 right turns and 6 left turns. So these guys are going to be up for a challenge. Entering the interior part of the road course is going to be a lot challenging, and obviously coming down to the last corner. That's always a hard braking zone, so we might see some wrecks and might see some overtaking.
Absolutely. The new interior layout, which is not really new, it was actually the old layout that Sonoma had when NASCAR first arrived here back in the late 90s. It was modified a little bit to add the backstretch chicane that you saw that would go up from turn 4 all the way to 7A. Now they're going back to the old layout, which ever since then was utilized by both GT racing, endurance racing, and the IndyCar series when they took their turns coming to this historic facility. As now we get set for a great night of action. It was brought back during the 2019 season, kind of as an anniversary celebration, and ever since then it's been kept like that. Sadly, we weren't able to see it during the 2020 season due to the pandemic. Hopefully we get to see it some more, because this is a very exciting racetrack, and it's just amazing to see it back here on iRacing. And we've seen a lot of great drivers. I remember back when we had the Galaxy Cup Series here, it was probably the most interesting race just because of the fact that all 3 people that we expected in that race to win ended up wrecking in the early goings, making it a who's guess of who could win this race. But just looking at the timing and scoring right now, it looks like to me there's about 3 drivers the same way that have a chance of winning this, as Holden McGill, again, top of the charts right now with a 38.374, as he is very much incapable of winning tonight's race.
Speaking of Holden McGill and Joseph being on top there in second, we're going to look into the point standings. As we mentioned, Holden McGill up top, leading the points right now. Taylor Butcher Benjamin following in suit, 32 points back on him. In second place, Zach Arnold in third, Joseph in fourth, and Derek Rolleveld rounds out the top 5 in points. Jack B. Ryan in sixth. Merrick Watchhorn in 7th place. Kevin Franks in 8th place, our Daytona winner. Logan Hamilton in 9th place, and Ryan Duke rounds out our top 10.
Yeah, right now only 3 races into the season, so there's still a long way to go within the point standings before we can say officially who's going to be where for the upcoming playoffs later in the year. But still, it's a very big spread out points for only 3 races, so it should be very exciting to see what any of these drivers can do, because this is the first real road course that these drivers are going to tackle this season, so it'll make it even more interesting to see who is going to be able to overcome the challenges and win here tonight. And a win here could do a lot of good for your championship hopes, especially this early in the season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the championship hopes, like we said, this is only round 4 of 29. So, I mean, if you look back now, right behind Joshua Abbey in that 16th spot, he's actually tied with Purcell for that cutoff spot. And then you look behind him, you got Mathis and Fisher, 1 point behind them. So I know Mathis is in the race. I don't think Purcell's in here. So, this is, if Fisher can have a good points day, and also I don't see Joshua Abbey either. So these guys might be able to, Fisher, excuse me. No, it is Mathis, excuse me. Might be able to find his way into that playoff seat right now.
It all depends on just how well this race can go. One good race could really boost your way up in for your championship hopes and making the postseason, as now we get set for qualifying here for the L-TAC Cup Series. Now just entering the session, we're going to wait for our first driver to make their way on to the circuit. All I got to ask right now is, who do you see possibly knocking off for the pole position to take the pole here for tonight's event? And as you see right now, Corey Meadows is on the racetrack currently, going up through the hillsides, getting ready to set it down to make the hard right turn into the infield. And you're gonna see it firsthand, these tracks right now, as they make their way in through the interior part of the section. As right now, another thing to keep in mind is this is also Cody Meadows' first start of the season, as well as Carter Cundinger and also Cole Freilich, a Pit Stop TV alumni of ours. He's currently now going to be running here within this series, so it'll be very interesting to see how he's able to hold up. He was about 4th in practice when the checker flag waved, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. As now you look at the inside of that number 46, he gets set now for the downhill stretch into the S's.
Yeah, this is actually a really, really good shot here. Just looking and seeing actually how tight this racetrack really is. From seeing it from from a broadcast thing, from what you'd see on Fox or something. It looks like these guys have a lot more room than they do. And then from looking, obviously not from the driver's perspective, but just slightly far up, these guys don't have a lot of room. You see, he got a little bit loose coming out of there. This is where I'm talking about, that final corner, that hard braking zone. You're going to see these guys get up right on those curbs and then track right back out. Hopefully not to get too loose and almost hit the wall like that.
Now coming down to the front stretch to start his first lap in qualifying. Each driver has 2 laps, as now he makes his way to the run-up to turns number 1 and 2. An easy place to lose it. We've seen multiple drivers have struggles here where you get on the brakes and the back end steps out from under you trying to get around here, and then it's just a manage of throttle control, because it is so easy with the elevation changes to spin your tires, and you've seen driver after driver spin off these sections into the sand traps, as he's going to go wide on that corner, going to lose a lot of time trying to gather it back up, and he was going to keep it going as he sets off into the interior part of it again.
Yeah, we were thinking right there, just coming up the hill, it gets, it's really tight with all these elevation changes, and especially going into that interior part, it's a lot tighter than most people think. Looking at Taylor Butcher Benjamin right now, coming on to the back through the S's here through the latter half of the track. He's going full speed ahead here. See him catching those curbs coming up in the last 2 corners of the circuit. You're going to see him hit that straight stretch, hit those curbs, going to come into the final corner here, that hard braking zone. You're going to see him actually runs a little bit wide there. And he's going to track all the way, almost out to that wall, going to run all the way out to the outside, hug that inside line there, track out to the wall, and he's going to start his timed lap.
Now going back up through turns 1 and 2 yet again, now looking back towards the number 33 of Robert Pentagale, as he now is making his way down the SUs through 8, 8, and 9, getting set up for 10, as now you see at the top of your screen, as Watchhorn is going to be the first driver to set a lap. 40.575 is going to be the time to be. Cole Freilich now comes in second, with the number 43 falling back in third. As drivers now, you're going to see a lot of jockeying for position on the timing charts, as more and more drivers are setting their laps to start this session.
Jack B. Ryan is no stranger to being up front. We've seen how he was at Richmond. He was one of the front runners, so he's not a stranger to that top spot. As we say that, Derek Rolleveld straight up to the top spot, 0.8 of a second faster than Logan Hamilton, who's taking second right now.
Yeah, again, you're going to see a lot of these drivers now start to set in times. Ryan Dingler now setting a lap, a 38.807. Now he goes up to the top of this time charts. As again, you're seeing more and more drivers set laps. I'm surprised by Cole Freilich, a 41.321. His fastest in practice was a 39.5, so he's going to have to try and pick up the pace. Joseph is now clocks in at P number 3 with a 39.304 to start his first lap. As now you're going to see these drivers, they have started that first lap. They have their assurance lap down. So now, if you want to try and take this pole position, now's the time where you let it all hang loose and you go after it, because get that first lap down. So no matter what, you're going to have a starting position in this race and not start at the rear of the field, basically on a provisional. So now is the lap you're going to see drivers push as hard as they can to try and take this pole position.
Yeah, looking at it now, you see we're about 4 minutes and 45 seconds left in qualifying. Man, looking at that 8 car, that scheme is really, really nice. Joseph right there, coming out of the inner part of the road course, going down back on the latter half, going through these S's here. Currently almost half a second off of the top time. We're going to see what he can do for his second lap. See him catch those curbs. You're going to see a lot of two-wheeling tonight.
Yeah, these curves very high up, so it's very easy to go bicycling around some of these corners. As now you take a look at the number 21 as he takes it down to the front stretch. So Holden McGill slots in. He currently sits in around the middle of the field, 4th position actually to be exact, so not exactly in the middle of the field. And now you're just seeing more and more drivers either setting their first lap of the race, or they're going to come down and complete their second lap. As now you're looking at the 10 of Zach Arnold, who's currently getting ready to complete his own second lap.
Zach Arnold coming through the final corner. You see him hug the corner, or hug the curbs there, excuse me. He's going to come around. We're going to see where that slots him. He's going to complete his first lap. That's going to put him up to P14. It's a 142.931. So he's still got, oh, looks like he's actually done there.
That is going to be his second lap, so he will currently start provisionally P14. Look at the 04 go very wide. He's going to touch the tire barrier. He's going to have to wonder if that, in fact, is going to invalidate the lap times there for Curtis Martin as he comes down. Actually, no, he hasn't even started a lap, so that is his out lap right there. So now we're going to see him come up and try and take his opening lap as he sets up for the run up to turn 2. In a very interesting corner, he goes wide, and he's going to go right off into the kitty litter.
Oh man, that's not what you want to do going off track like that. I mean, especially even in qualifying, but you don't want to do that in the race. Looking back, Holden McGill coming back for his second lap, currently slots himself in 4th. We're going to see where he puts himself coming across the line here. Through the final little straight stretch here across the line, he's going to find himself, looks like still P4.
He does not improve. His opening lap was a 39.385. That lap a 39.793. So he will hold it in 4th. Now looking at the number 30 now of Brett Fisher. He also is going a little off-roading there. It's funny because I played a little Pro 4 action this past few weeks, and that's kind of what you're looking at right there. You're going to set it off into the what was the grass here at Sonoma, and then you're just kind of riding the wheel trying to keep that car from going into the tire barriers. Now he's going to go wide, and his lap was already invalidated. This is his second lap, so I guess right now he's just more or less having fun because it was invalidated when he went off the grass in turn number 8, so now he's just kind of enjoying himself as he comes to bring it to the checkered.
I mean, your lap's already invalidated. You know, go out there, just keep driving around, see what times you can get. You know, just any track time is track time, so get as familiar with the track as you can. Looking on board right now, the 04 of Curtis Martin coming through the back half of the track here, going through the S's, popping these curbs, going on 2 wheels. We're going to see what he's going upwards of almost 9,000 RPMs through the section. You're going to see him get on the downshift, excuse me, not get on the brake. Well, no, he probably is getting on the brakes a little bit. Here we go, full throttle through here, downshift, hard braking zone into the final corner.
Downshifting into 1, he shot for the apex a little bit early, so he goes wide on corner exit. Now just slams the throttle up to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Let's see where he slots in for his first lap. It looks like that lap was actually invalidated, so this is going to be his 1 flyer lap. Now coming back up into turns number 2. Also going to go wide, and he is off into the sand, so that will invalidate that lap time as well. And I believe that was the last driver on track that could set a lap, as everybody else is currently off the track. So what you see right now will be more than likely your starting grid here for tonight's event, as now we just wait out the final 10 seconds here before we go to race time.
You know, looking at this lineup, you know, Derek Rolleville, Joseph, Logan Hamilton, Holden McGill, Jack B. Ryan, these guys are sitting up in the top 6. You know, another guy I was looking for, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, not really showing a lot of speed right now. Like, I think he qualified like 12th, so we're going to see a lot of new names up front, names maybe we're not used to, and we'll find that out right here as we walk down the grid.
Starting on pole here tonight, in the number 8 is going to be Ryan Dingler. Lining up on his outside is going to be Derek Rolleveld. Starting behind them in row number 2 is the number 20 of Joseph. On the outside is going to be the number 21 of Holden McGill. Slotting back in P number 5 is going to be number 12 of Logan Hamilton. Starting 6th, the number 2 of Jack Ryan. 7th is going to be the number 02 of Carter Gundinger, and the number 49 of Anthony Musanti. And then rounding out your top 10, the number 91 of Merrick Watchhorn, and the number 15 Pit Stop TV alumni himself, Mr. Cole Freilich.
Top 10, starting 11th, we have Cody Meadows. To his outside, starting 12th, we have Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Started 13th, we have Colin Stone, and to his outside, we have the 10 of Zach Arnold. 15th, we have Barrick Uphold to his outside, 97, Jeremy Berger. 33, we have Tucson Sound Art's Robert Pattengale, and to his outside, we have Robert Mathis. And rounding out our top 20, we have Dylan Breton in 19th and Brett Fisher in 20th.
Outside the top 20, you're going to find the number 23 of Frank Flores. Alongside him, the number 3 of Nate Brooker. Starting back in 23rd, and number 52 of Grant Pedersen, with number 98 of Kevin Franks. Lining up 25th and 26th, the number 333 of James Vinning, and the 44 of Sean Deal. And then starting shotgun on the field in the 27th position, you're going to find Curtis Martin, and the number 58 of Ryder Schwerf. And that is going to round out your 28-car starting grid here for the L-TAC Cup Series here at Sonoma, as now we get set for the pace lap, which should be coming around here in the next 40 or so seconds, as they're currently going to driver intro. So you're going to see these cars sit on here a little bit longer than expected as the field gets set to go racing for 45 laps. While we have that time, let's go ahead and thank some of our partners here, both for the L-TAC Cup Series and for Pit Stop TV. Giving a shout out for the L-TAC Cup Series, also sponsoring here on Pet Stop TV, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You provide the image you want. We will custom create a beautiful framed, high quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info. And also be sure to use the promo code PitStopTV at checkout and receive 10% off your purchase. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Race Pace. Ever wish you could have your race engineer on speed dial? Well, now you can. Thanks to Race Pace, a driver development service and setup shop will all in one. Work with Tyler, a real-world race engineer, to set up your game for your next race. Pick up pace with Race Pace. Also, a shout out to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bullier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine a call today to book a consultation. Lastly, we're going to give a shout out to Whiplash Media, Pit Stop TV's new parent organization. Whiplash Media specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to whiplash-media.com for more. And as we say that, the field now, sending around this 11-turn road course, now going through turns 7 and 7A as they make the run down to the S as we get set to go green flag racing here on Pit Stop TV. I want to give a last minute chance for Trey Patton. Who do you have as your pick to win it here tonight in Sonoma?
Man, that's really tough to pick. You know, my pick last week, I wasn't on the broadcast, but I was watching. I was rooting for Joseph, man. He almost had it. You know, he's been on the grind this season. You know, I'm going to pick that 20. Joseph's my pick tonight. He's showing some speed. It's early on. If he can get out front, maybe pull away, I think he might be able to get it done tonight. All
right, we're going to see how that pick takes out. The pace car now making the left turn onto the pit entrance. The field now in the hands of Ryan Dingler, number 8, as they make their way out of turn number 11. 45 laps, the scheduled distance here for tonight's event for the L-TAC Cup Series, as now the field in the hands of number 8, as the green flag is out. And we are racing at Sonoma as Derek Roelveld is going to get the jump on Dingler as they make the run up to turn number 2.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. He had quite the run there, but you see Dingler able to pull ahead. You see, he runs off the racetrack. Joseph and Roelveld side by side. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is the mistake that he needed to happen for them early on, is he's taking the lead right now. It's going to be really tight going into this next corner. If he can keep it straight, he'll be good.
The number 99 of Derek Roelveld is going to get the position on the inside, and now they're going to make their way up to the carousel, this downhill section. So easy to go off into the sand. Roelveld is going to clear him going into that corner, and now Roelveld is your new leader as Joseph settles back in P number 2 with the number 21 of Holden McGill slotting in third.
He's got plenty of time to realize what he did. I was really applauding him for being patient there. It's a long race, 45 laps. You may think 45 laps. No, that's not a long time. Well, considering these guys are running almost 2-minute lap times, they got plenty of time to get this done. They have 3 stages. Joseph, we see he's patient. He knows how to get around these racetracks. And look at all the time he's already caught up just from leaving the interior part of the road course.
Coming down to the fastest section of the racetrack, down to turn number 11. Going to get hard on the brakes down to first gear into one of the most enticing passing zones on this entire circuit, as they're going to bring it out of the final corner and complete the first lap here for tonight's event. Somewhat of a clean lap, besides the little stack up on the start up in turn number 2. Regardless, we are still racing as a field now single filed out. Roeleveld starting to grow a little bit of a lead in number 99 Ford Mustang, as second, third, and fourth, though, are still all over each other for those spots.
Yeah, the battle's really heating up back here. Kundinger and Holden McGill really starting to come up and start to put the pressure on Joseph. Watching on the board of our current points leader, Holden McGill, right now, looking on the interior view of that machine, going through the interior part of this road course, coming downhill into the carousel here. You're going to see him track out a little bit here. You can see the gap back from Roeleveld to Joseph, and the back to Holden himself. They've got about a second and a half up to Roeleveld, so they've got a pretty decent gap here.
Now making our way up to turn 7, up to the top end of the racetrack, now setting down for the S's. But again, the number 99 Roeleveld with a very big distance lead as he makes his way, going to hop all over these curbs, and this is where you need to figure out your rhythm, because if anything, this track is a rhythm racetrack. You need to figure out exactly what lines you need to hit, what throttle you need to put, and how much wheel you need to give into this. If you can do that and you can hit these just right, you can go flying through these sections of the course. Now down back into turn number 11 as we get set to complete lap number 2, as Joseph is starting to close in the gaps. So we're starting to see Joseph. He's struggling to keep the pace up to the first half of the racetrack. When you get down to that second half of the course, he is really able to put the power down and catch up to that 99.
You say that right there. He just ran the hot time of the race right now. And you talk about this is a rhythm racetrack. I agree 100%. If you're not on your toes 100%, and if you're not into that rhythm, it'll throw you off. Just like we saw Ryan Dingler do. He wasn't in his rhythm. He wasn't on his toes, and we saw him run off right there. But like we say, any other track, this track is very minute, especially with these cars. If you take the curb wrong, you might go off and spin. You get in the throttle wrong, you crack it at the wrong time, you're going to spin out or get loose or, go off the track. You got to be on your toes 100% of the time.
Especially on the start, because, with where you're at right now, if you go off, you might lose a position or two and lose about a couple seconds from the car you're fighting. But an update on Ryan Dingler. He started on pole. He had that off-track incident. He has fallen all the way back to 8th. Now fighting number 91 of Merrick Watchhorn as he makes his way through turns 7 as well. The number 8 Paul Davis Chevrolet now making the run down to the S's, trying to catch up. You see again Watchhorn and the 91 up ahead. Cole Freilich up there in 6th in front of them. And then a pretty big gap to Jack B. Ryan, currently running in P5.
Yeah, they've got about 3 seconds separating Cole and Jack there, and then another 2 seconds up to Kundinger and McGill. So I'd say right now pretty well spaced out. And then looks like the 04, that is Curtis Martin, slow on the racetrack. Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe had a slowdown or maybe just spun out. Not quite sure there, but nonetheless, he's back going. Currently sitting, as timing and scoring says, in 22nd.
He's also trying to fight off the number 44 of Sean Deal as he makes his way now through turns 8. Also going to go off, so that's going to cost him a little more time to the 44 as they make now the fast gear changes down the first to set up for this tight hairpin back onto the front stretch. And a little bit of history lesson for people here if you don't remember back when it was called Sears Point. they didn't have the full pit road that they have right now for the extension. So they've got to remember back when they had the Gilligan's Island pit road off to the inside of the hairpin that about 35th through 43rd would use. We don't use that anymore, but still just an interesting tidbit about this racetrack. Because again, this is not only is it interesting because of the fact that it has right turns for a NASCAR Cup race, but also the fact that it's I believe, one of the only racetracks besides Bristol at the time that had a divided pit road the way it did.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, a lot of people don't really know because, I honestly forgot about it until you mentioned it because that's just not something I really, I don't really think about that. And you say Sears Point, that's really old. Some people might remember back when it was called Infineon.
Oh, that's a throwback right there. But you gotta remember the thing about Sears Point that made it just so interesting because of the fact that it was such a shorter pit road with the 35th pit stall all the way back to 43rd. With the way NASCAR evened it out so that way they wouldn't get the jump on the leaders is they would go in there, get their pit stop, but I believe they would hold them in their stall for 15 seconds each time. So it's just a very interesting scenario that this race had every time they came out here. And also back in the time when this track had grass when they ran earlier in the season. Now obviously you're looking now at the sand and what's left of the grass, but now looking at the number 30 of Brett Fisher now coming back up through the top in the racetrack to complete lap number 4. He currently runs back there in P14, fighting off the number. Actually, no, he's actually running back there in the 15s, fighting off the 52 of Grant Peterson, trying to chase down number 43 of Colin Stone as he makes the way run up to turn number 2.
You see Jeremy Berger right on the back bumper of that 52. Grant Peterson under pressure, or at least he was, going up through that section of the racetrack. We're going to see it now going uphill. We're going to see if Jeremy Berger's got anything. He's had a lot of pace. We saw him doing really well last week at Atlanta. We're going to see if he has anything for the road courses.
He actually had spun on the last lap on his run up to turn 7. So right now he's currently on the rebound trying to fight his way back. An interesting thing you're looking on the screen right now too is that is actually kind of a Tony Stewart whole thing going on there between those two. Not teammates, but there's an interesting tidbit. You got the 52, which is a conversion of the Stewart Haas car that Chase Briscoe ran in the Xfinity Series, and obviously the 97 made famous by Tony Stewart when he ran it in the Cup Series in the early 2010s. You see him getting a little action there, hopping the curves, getting a little bit of wheel spin, trying to get back on the throttle as they make their way back down to 7 and 8. It's going to cost him quite a bit of time as he again is going to try and catch back up. Now looking back through the top 5, looking up towards Cole Fralick and the number 91 of Watchorn as he now falls back 2 spots into 7th as he's trying to now chase back down to number 8 of Ryan Dinger.
Yeah, Dinger and Fralick make their way up to the top, or Fralick makes his way up to the top 5. Still got a little bit of a ways up to Kundinger, excuse me. Got about 7 seconds. That's the gap between 4th and 5th. Ryder Schrauf in pit road, not quite sure what happened there. The front end completely obliterated, the hood gone. We're going to get a replay for you guys here so we can find out what happened to Ryder Schrauf.
Yeah, you talk about the gap. Well, now that's a gap to pit road as we try to take a look at what happened to Schrauf as we wait to see the replay pop up on screen to what could have ripped the hood off of that Chevrolet, making the run down to turn 6 in the interior part of the road course to number 58, back on the power, and he just lost it and takes just drove straight into the tire barriers. A very hard hit for the number 51, and that is possibly going to bring an end early for that driver as he sits on pit road, possibly waiting for a towback, or is already on damage control trying to get the car repaired. Now you take it on board on the dashboard for number 58.
See him go through the little bit, that carousel right here. You're going to see him just get back onto the gas right there. It gets loose, goes off track, and right into the tires. I know it's virtual, but it's still a hard hit, and thankfully there's tires there, because if there wasn't, it'd be like that incident. I think it was Brad Keselowski at Indianapolis, I think, to where he hit the tire wall, or I don't know if the tires were there or not, but a very hard hit and could have potentially been worse.
It looks like he actually might be out on the racetrack once again. That is a car up ahead who also has his hood ripped off. That is the case. It's now the 17 of Dylan Britton goes wide in turn 7 to allow the number 33 of trying to figure this is number 33 of Pattingale, as now he makes the runs down through 7 and 8. He's going to take over that spot all the way back there outside the top 20. That was a pass for the 24th position as he set up for turn number 8. Again, the fastest part of the racetrack. You're basically sliding your way through this entire corner, and it's honestly one of the my favorite parts of the track, because you have all that speed that you build up coming from the downhill section, and then you feed it right into that corner, and then you're just wheeling it and you're sliding to that corner. If you can get it right on the rumble strips and able to pull it off perfectly, it's such a cool feeling to pull that off. Now looking up further through the field at the number 1 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, now making a run up to 7, currently running up in P11, as the 91 of Merrick Watchorn still falling back to the field. He was up in 5th. Now he's looking to fall all the way almost outside the top 10 as it stands in 11th.
You see Anthony Musatti making a run there. You see Merrick Watchorn actually making a run on Musatti. Not quite sure where Musatti went, might have had a connection issue right there. He's back on the racetrack, so good to see him back. And he's gone again.
Looks like a little bit of internet issues taking place, as he's actually going to hit the tire bearers and come right in front of the field. He's going to shoot right across the racetrack into the path of the leaders for the number 10 of Zach Arnold. He is going to tow it back to the pits to avoid any incident, but man, that was a very scary incident to have happen, as that could have ended in disaster for the field, as Zach Arnold takes quite a ride through the hairpin.
You know, we mentioned having connection issues, and that's something there. You know, these guys, were seeing him blink in and out. He was gone, and next thing you know, he came back, he was in the wall. So we're going to get the onboard of Zach Arnold, who was behind it when that happened. You see him disappear there. And then the next thing you know, he's back right there into the inside wall. Oh, and he hits him all the way across the track. Oh, my goodness.
Here's the interesting thing. Go take an onboard with the number 2 of Jack Bryan and look at his viewpoint through all of this. He tried to make his way through that, because he had a front row view to see that number 2 go shooting right across the track into the path. And I'm surprised he didn't hit it. You're going to see him there. Go through turn number 8, or about turn number 10, I should say. Make the run up turn 11, hard on the brakes, down the first gear. He's going to make his way around this hairpin, just nice and easy. He's actually fighting behind him with Logan Hamilton. He comes out of the corner, back on the throttle, and there he goes right in front of him. Man. That could have been a race ended right there.
That, you know, we're up in the booth watching this, and that kind of made me clench a little bit, just seeing that, you know, just from a driver's standpoint. That's not what you want to see at all.
We also stay green as of right now, as the field still working their way up through the section. Now on board with Taylor Butcher Benjamin, number 1, as looking again on the replay for the number 1, as he looks out the rear on his view of that, what he saw in the mirror. Now going back live to the current race coverage, Derek Rolleveld still leading as Joseph in the number 20, still trying to chase him down. And honestly, probably one of the most interesting names I've ever seen on iRacing. Joseph, the double first name right now. He's like, it doesn't matter what my name is, because he is holding on to number 99 for the race lead.
Yeah, he's doing an absolute heck of a job. You know, going into Daytona earlier this season, and watching him at Richmond, and then watching him last week, he is making sure his name is known. He's put in the time for practice. He's making sure that it shows on track. He's made sure that Derek Rolleveld has not made sure that he is pulled away. You know, he hasn't checked out, because he's still in the picture.
Absolutely. He has fallen back quite a bit, about almost 2 seconds, but in the terms of Sonoma, that is a very, very safe distance to be at, because you're there, but you're still holding on. And right now, it's right at that point where you're so close to being in a position to make a pass. You can see that lead right ahead of you, but it's so painful that you can't do anything about it. As now they make their way back up to turn 10, to come to the white flag of this stage. Derek Rolleveld's still going to lead, and if he can hold on to it, he should have a stage win locked up within his grasp.
You look back, Joseph, almost up to that half a second margin, coming to the white flag, or actually on the white flag of stage number 1, as you mentioned, I think he might be able to come up here and put some pressure on, try to get some of those stage points.
He is really starting to close the gap. Now it looks like he was holding it back a little bit. We're going to start to see some of the true race pace that the number 20 can pull, as now coming up through turns 6 and 7 into the downhill section. This is going to be a very pivotal moment in this lap. If he can get this corner perfect and get the exit that he needs, he could really have a shot at him up to turn number 7, now making a run up the drag strip towards turn 7 to the top end of the speedway. It looks like he's not gonna be able to get it right there, so he's gonna have to try and put all of his eggs in one basket and try to get a run going down here into the downhill section of the S's.
Well, from what we've seen earlier on, we got a car off to the left there. Not quite sure who that was, but nonetheless, they kept that going. That's the 23 of Frank Flores. But that battle for the lead up here, we saw this was Joseph's faster part of the track, but I don't think he's going to get quite to him yet. Coming into the final section of the racetrack, he's still got a little bit of time. Will Roeleveld be outbroken here? Will he overshoot the final corner? Joseph taking out the cones, but it doesn't matter as long as he gets out of this corner fine. This will be the end of stage number 1. Derek Roeleveld.
Derek Roeleveld going to safely bring it home to the green and white checkered. He will take stage win number 1. Joseph going to hold on to P number 2. Holden McGill going to bring it across the line to P number 3. Carter Kundinger and the number 02 going to bring it across the line in his first start. He is going to come across in P number 4. Ryan Dingler going to hold on. Dingler and the number 8 going to hold on to 5th. Cole Fred going to take home 6th as the rest of the field purely make their way through. Logan Hamilton 8th. Jack B. Ryan going to bring it home in 8th. Merrick Watchorn in 9th. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin will cross the line in P number 10 to round out your top 10 for stage number 1.
Yeah, these guys put on a heck of a show. I mean, honestly, we're only 10 laps of 45, and it says 53, as we said earlier. Caution laps, we're not going to count them, so there's going to be 45 green flag laps. So that being said, these guys have put on a heck of a show so far. Lots of action with only 10 laps in. Stage number 2 also going to be a 10-lap run. And just from what we've seen now, Noah, I think these guys, I can't even put words together because I'm just so excited to see what these guys are going to do. Like, I'm pumped.
Yeah, it is currently set up to be one humdinger of a race here at Sonoma, much like what we saw in the past in the Cup Series, like what was the Jeff Gordon versus Clint Boyer, I believe, back in 2012. It's just, there's so much on the line that you can have here, and it's such an interesting race to have. And, it's kind of one of the unknowns. In the last few years, it became a track where short track racers had the potential to go out there and win these races now. Drivers like AJ Allmendinger. This is become a place of its own. Where it used to be, if you're a road course ringer like the Jan Magnusons and Scott Pruitts of the endurance racing world, you come over here, have a good race, and bring home solid finishes for some of the back marker teams. Now it's become a place where those mid-pack teams are able to come in here and steal wins into the playoffs, much how some teams have done. But then again, you have your Chase Elliott's just come in here and spoil the fun for everybody else. So it's going to be very interesting to see what plays out here for the remaining laps of this race. The field now going to catch up the pace car. We should be seeing some pit stops take place this time.
Yeah, I believe cars will be coming into pits this time that makes sense to me anyway. Just looking further back through that, Derek Roeleveld, I wouldn't have expected him to put on in, lead as much as he did here, because I didn't know what to expect coming into here. I saw some of these guys in practice. He was one of the faster guys in practice. And just looking now, a lot of these guys that we said were going to be up front, we look Jack B. Ryan, he's back in 8th. Merrick Watchorn, we see him up front a lot. He's in 9th. Taylor Butcher Benjamin finished 10th. Old McGill 3rd. I mean, these guys are spread out throughout the field.
Yeah, another driver to point out as well. Again, at number 15, Cole Fraley, making his first start in the L-TAC Cup Series here. For a guy making his inaugural start, he is currently holding it steady there in the 6th position after starting 10th, running up within the position with some of these leaders like Ryan Dingler and Logan Hamilton. So a really good race for him right now in that 15 Racing Nation TV Chevrolet Camaro, as he is getting ready to possibly make his first pit stop of the night as well. So be able to see what kind of strategy he can pull on pit road to jump some positions, as now we're going to maybe see some drivers make that left turn, and here they come, the field now going to bring it down pit road, and we're going to see just who has the pit strategy to win this race. Now making their way down the long run, you're going to see Joseph now all over the back bumper, trying to gain as much time as he can as he make their way through now the left-hander, and now we get to see some live pit stops here on Pit Stop TV to get the race off, to see who's going to take the lead here for the start of stage 2.
We see Derek Roosevelt, Joseph about to get in their selective pit boxes. There we go, or respective pit boxes, excuse me. The lines are, the sign is down, cars are on the jacks. Here we go. Who's going to get off pit road first? Whose pit crew is fastest?
It looks like it's going to be the 99 of Roosevelt. He is going to hold on to it, but not by much. Joseph still comes out in second. The 21 of Holden McGill holds on to third, and Carter Kundinger is going to hold on to fourth. Dingler is going to bring it back out in fifth, and it looks like most drivers are actually going to maintain the positions they came in with. Doesn't look like anybody in the top 10 really jumped up any spots on that last round of pit stops. And now we're going to try and bring in our third place finisher from the race, Holden McGill. See if we can get him into the booth to possibly have a word with him. We do have him in the booth. Holden McGill, do you have a copy with us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's been a very interesting stage 1. You guys had quite an interesting start. Kind of take us through the mindset you had trying to survive that first round, or that first lap, I should say.
Just try not to hit any other cars. I definitely caught the wall a little bit in turn 1 going into the first corner. And then after that, it was just trying to avoid all the craziness going on around me. But luckily, we ended up ahead of it and just kind of hung out there the rest of the time. Although I didn't feel like I really had anything for the top 2. They are crazy fast.
That was the next question. You're sitting back here in a comfortable third spot. You had about maybe a 7-second gap to try and catch up to the front 2. Do you have any idea as to what you can do possibly to maintain the gap with these two, or are you kind of more looking to maintain a position you have and hold off to 04 Carter Kundinger?
I think I'm just going to worry about keeping it on the asphalt, and if I have to give up a spot or 2 to do that, I'll take it.
All right, now as you get set here for the next restart to start stage number 2, what is the game plan going to be going into this one, as well as the setup for the remainder of this race?
Pretty much same as the first stage, just survive.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll give you a chance to thank some of your partners here. They'll help you get on the track here. Who do you have to thank for how your run's gone so far?
As always, thank my teammates. We're happy to have Ryan Dingler with us. Finally have our 4th guy. We've been trying to get him in all season and finally worked out. He's been a lot of help in practice and helping us find new lines, breaking points, stuff like that. So just thanks to all of them.
All right. Well, congrats on your 3rd place stage finish, and hopefully get to talk to you some more as this race goes on here tonight.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, that's going to be your 3rd place stage finisher, Holden McGill. We actually delayed the green flag, so we should be making another lap around the circuit before we go racing once again. Still a very interesting race to have played out. You talked about it right there. Those 2 front runners of Joseph and Derek Roosevelt is just absolutely checking out right now. The only driver who had the opportunity to maybe stay up with them was number 8 of Ryan Dingler, but sadly had that chance taken away because of the incident on lap number 1. As they make their way down through the S's once again, as we should get the 1 to green again this time by.
With that being said, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to send this straight to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. live on Pit Stop TV. We'll be right back.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
All right, welcome back to the live coverage here of the L-TAC Cup Series here at Sonoma Raceway. Again, big shout out to the guys over at Tucson Sound Art. Been a long time partner with us here on Pit Stop TV as of right now. They came originally from here in the L-TAC Cup Series. We were able to bring them on board. And they've also been a really big supporter of the L-TAC Cup Series as well. So again, as always, just a big shout out to them for all that they've done for us, as well for Andrew. They actually sent him his own canvas with the Bluetooth speaker, and when he first got that, it was like, it didn't matter where you were or what you were doing, he always had something to say about that thing. He has loved that thing ever since he got it, and it just proves just how high quality it is. But again, just a huge shout out to them. Be sure to go check them out. Support the guys who support us and let us be able to do the stuff that we do each and every week to bring you these live broadcasts, as well as be sure to use that promo code PitStopTV to save 10% on your order, because who doesn't love saving a little bit of money, as well for a piece of art, as well as Tucson Sound Art. So again, a big shout out to them, as now they make the field now. Making their way back through turn number 10. The pace car getting ready to make that left turn back to the safety of pit road. Going to bring the field back into the hands of Derek Rolleveld. He has opted to take the right lane on this restart, making their way now through turn number 11 as we get set for the green flag. The leader's not going to catch up to stay within the line as we now get ready as the green flag is out and we are back racing here at Sonoma.
Looks like Joseph had a little bit of a bobble there. They're going to be side by side going into turn number 2, going up the hill. Not quite sure. Joseph's going to hold him straight to the curb. He might have the run going up through the hill, and he's going to claim the lead.
New leader, Joseph. He's now going to take over that top spot. Derek Rolleveld going to fall back to second. Carter Kundinger jumps up to third as Cole Freilich takes over fourth. As contact between Dingler and Ryan back there in the field as now they make their way up to turn number 6. And we have a side-by-side fight for the race lead going into the downhill corner.
Brett Fisher went around there. Back up to the lead battle. Derek Rolleveld going to try and take it on the outside. They're going to be side by side coming out of the carousel down the back part of the drag strip here, coming into turn 7. They're going to be right there. He's just going to clear him, but not quite. Joseph clips the curb, and that's going to give Derek Rolleveld the gap he needs.
Yeah, you saw there, Joseph tried to actually give him the bumper. He's going to do it again there. He's going to lose a lot of time because of that. That is going to allow Kundinger and the number 02 to have a shot to make a pass. Not going to do anything as now they make their way through turn number 10. You saw him, Rolleveld got a little bit of a bumper from Joseph, but he wasn't able to do anything with it. They're going to hold on to the position that they maintained, making their way back down to turn number 11 as we now complete the first lap. But we have a spinner in the hairpin as we have an incident that I believe that was the number 12 of Logan Hamilton, possibly number 1 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin was involved in that as well. We stay green, however. Again, this is going to be a 10-lap stage. The next caution lap should be coming out at lap 26 as now the field completing the first lap of stage number 2 as now we are racing once again as Rollville again looks to open up like the same gap that he had on that initial start.
We're going to get a replay of what happened there with Taylor Butcher Benjamin and that spin going on in the hairpin. So we're going to take a look at that here. So we're looking at Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Actually, it looks like there's a spin back there.
Now making their way through turn number 10 down to 11. I believe the record was ahead of him. Yep, there it is. The number 12 of... Trying to get the name on that. Logan Hamilton, number 12. He got hooked with a little bit of contact by Watchhorn coming into 11, just a little late on the brakes, and Sally also involved the number 1 of Benjamin as well. So they are going to be able to get it back going as they make their way around this winding course. I also want to give a correction. This is not going to go to lap 26. Actually going to go to the end of 24. Shout out to Nolan Rimple for giving the update on that to let us know that. So we will be going to lap 24, not lap 26, as we still stay green up ahead. As the fight though for the race lead starting to brew, as Joe's going to make the dive to the inside. He is going to take that lead, as maybe Rollville had to have a slowdown because he was way off the pace. He's going to pull the crossover down the front stretch and take back that race lead, but they're going to go side by side into turn number 1, and they're going to go way close to the inside wall there.
Right at the line there, I think Joseph might have had that. Looking at time and scoring, he did edge him out just slightly. There's still some, but Joseph around, keep it straight. Oh my gosh, almost contact with Cole Freilich right there.
Very close contact, and that is going to be heartbreak for number 20. Still very early in the race, have an opportunity to build that back up with how hard those two are racing. In all honesty, it was only a matter of time before they made contact. Those two were running very hard together to try and take over the race lead because they knew that they needed to be in front of each other to have an opportunity to hold on to the spot and not fall back and lose a huge lead. But now, second place is going to be the number 02 of Carter Kundinger, and back in third, number 15 of Cole Freilich. Two drivers making their first starts. So how about it for the rookies running up here on the podium right now? However, Derek Rolleveld still holds on strongly to that race lead as Ryan Dingler now has rebounded up to fourth. We may have a fight back here for the third spot down here in the S's.
Yeah, definitely looking at this battle for third. Dingler definitely getting back up into the mix here. So definitely, we saw him have that little mix up on lap number 1. So definitely it's not too late for Joseph to get back into the mix as well, because we will re-rack him and stack him again, as you mentioned, on the end of lap number 24 for stage number 2. 04, Curtis Martin off the racetrack, still green.
A little bit of an incident there at the top end of the speedway in turn 7. He does get it back rolling, but will resume his place at the rear of the field in P21. It doesn't look to be much damage to the 04 Toyota Camry as he makes his run down towards turn number 10. As the race for the race lead, however, still starting once again. Now looking at the 92 of Barrick Uphold, is now looking back to fourth of Ryan Dingler in fourth. But again, you look up at the front. Something I also want to mention as well about the two leaders up at the front. I believe those two are actually teammates, because even though one running a Mustang runs running a Camry, they both have, I believe, the AOD Racing decals on those machines. So I believe those two are teammates, or just a really big matter of a coincidence, but still very interesting scenario to see play out here as Cole Freilich still holding on to the back bumper of that 02, as this is a really much closer fight than what we saw at the beginning of stage 1.
Yeah, definitely stage 1 was a little bit more spread out, but definitely we're seeing Kundinger and Freilich definitely putting on the pulling the reins back a little bit here. Definitely not pulling the reins back, excuse me, more so going full steam ahead, because these guys are trying to get up there, new to the series, trying to get as much points as possible, maybe even start off with a win so these guys can be into the playoffs earlier on than expected.
Roosevelt still holding strongly to the race lead. Cundinger trying to do whatever he can to maintain that second spot with a hard charge and Cole Freilich on third. Dingler still holding back there in fourth, with Holden McGill having dropped to fifth. Jack B. Ryan still claiming in sixth. Joseph having fallen back to seventh after the contact in turn number 2. Merrick Watchhorn still holding on the eighth. Nate Brooker in ninth, and Logan Hamilton currently holding on to that final stage position as they make their way across the line and complete lap number 20. 5 laps to go now in stage number 2. As now something interesting to pop up. Now we have a little bit of cloud cover taking place over as he turns 1 and 2, so that should add maybe possibly a little bit more grip to these drivers as now the track can have a chance to cool off for a second.
Yeah, I was actually just about to mention that. That's definitely what these guys want to see, because you're seeing a lot of these guys kind of, slip and slide in some of these corners. So definitely this cloud cover is going to help them grip up, as you mentioned, so they can get into the gas a little bit more and not have to worry about their tires spinning. So looking up to this battle for the lead now, I mean, it's more so a battle for second because Cole Freilich is right on that 0-2.
Is now the battle as he's going to try to pull the crossover to turn number 7. He is going to have the inside line. Gunner going to cut him off going into there as they make the U-turn back down with the run to the S's. Something I also wanted to point out that was a little interesting to see, just because of how big this track is, even though it's only about 2 or so miles long. It was actually the point where we had a cloud cover on the bottom end of the racetrack, but it was still clear and sunny up on the top side. Just kind of reminds me back of the Circuit de la Sarthe, or Le Mans, also known, where it was in that whole scenario of where it was just such a large racetrack that it could be raining on one of the racetrack, cloudy on the other side, but still sunny on the front stretch, which is kind of what we were looking at when we saw that aerial view. Still back up at the front, it's still a fight between Cole Freilich and Kundinger for the second spot. Those two are holding each other up. That's exactly what Rolleveld wants to see, as he is strengthening his lead over the second, third, and fourth down to about a second and a half, as Dingler still holding on there to the fourth spot within position to where if these two make a mistake, he could get second out of that.
Yeah, he's definitely in a good spot right now, but as you mentioned, Rolleveld is loving what he's seeing in his mirror. As we're talking about the weather, we're going to get our weather facts here. We're going to look, it's 86 degrees, just about. Air temp, track temp, a hot 123 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind from the west at 16 miles an hour. So quite a bit of wind going on here. Not really affecting a lot of these cars. That actually might be why we've seen a little bit of these guys, doing a little bit of wheel work. But these guys making do with what we got, and especially on a hot track, these guys are doing a lot right now.
Now making a run back up to turn number 7. Cole Freilich once again going to go side by side. This time on the outside, he's going to try and take the long way around. It's not going to work for him. In fact, it actually might hurt him. That was going to allow Dingler, but sadly he had a little bit of wheel spin on corner exit of 7. So now he's trying to chase back down those two. But again, that fight for second is heating up and heating up fast, just like the track temp. It is hot. Those two are over each other like a cheap suit, and they are not letting up one another as they are trying to take whatever they can for these stage points. Now running back down to turn number 10. Freilich with a huge run. He's going to go wide, go a little bit off track. He's going to hold on to it, but he will lose that third spot. No, he doesn't, in fact. He actually holds on to Dingler, and he's going to block him going into 11.
What a catch by Cole Freilich there, and he didn't even really lose that much time. Excellent job, Cole, for holding on to that, keeping it out of the wall, rejoining safely, and still keeping the gap. Good job by Dingler for, being aware of what was going on behind him. But as we said before, Rolleveld is loving this. He's gapped them by almost 3 seconds now.
Yeah, that fight has really allowed Rolleveld to open up a lead, and now he's on a charge, keeping a Sunday drive to take home and sweep the stages here as of where it stands with that 99 AOD Racing Ford Mustang. Now making up the set to turns 5 up to turn number 6. Now through the downhill carousel section. This is honestly probably one of the most aggravating corners on the racetrack, as well as one of the most scenic parts of the racetrack, because it's just such a long downhill sweeper, but you gotta be so careful on the throttle because you can easily just spin the tires and lose it on corner exit. But again, here comes Cole Freilich back on the charge, gonna take a dive into turn number 7. Now he's on the inside trying to make something happen. He might have it. Yes, he will. He's going to clear him. They're going to make contact. No, they avoid it, but now Freilich is going to clear him, move the number 15 up to second.
What a power move. We saw him trying to do it the last couple laps, but he just hasn't got that breaking point down. Kundinger almost gives him the bumper, trying to see if he can force Cole into a mistake. Coming up into the point here where Cole ran off the last lap. Will he do it again? No, he learned from that, knew better, knows what he's going to do here. Now we're going to see if Kundinger will try and dive down into the final corner. Does not.
He is not going to be able to get the pass done to retake second. He holds back on the third. 2 laps to go in the stage, as now Roeleveld holds on to a 3.5 second lead, as Freilich still holding on to second. Roeleveld now exiting turn number 2, as the fight for second, third, and fourth still rages on, as I don't think it's going to let up until we see that green and white checker come out, and even then I think it's going to rage on once that green flag comes back out, because these guys are fighting tooth and nail for every position that they can get.
Yeah, you can put these 3 guys under a blanket right now. They are bumper to bumper, looking on board. Ryan Dingler right now. You can just see how hot this battle is. You see Cole Freilich just get onto the gas right there and pull a little bit. You're going to see that run by Kundinger coming out of turn 6 here. Oh, actually, maybe not much of a run there, because it almost looked like some contact there. So if anything, I think Cole might actually have second here if he can actually keep it straight and keep it on the racetrack.
He actually had a little bit of a slip up as well coming out of turn number 6. He actually spun the tires. If you looked on that onboard, he was a little bit of sideways. He was able to hold on to it. Didn't lose that much of a lead as they make their way back down to 6, 7, and 8. As that 15 still just holding on steadily. It's been a very strong race. He started all the way back in 10th. He has moved up to second, but still is in no match for the number 99 of Roeleveld, who is now almost up to a 5-second gap because of all of this.
Absolutely insane. Derek Roeleveld, like I said before, was not on my radar for this at all, and he's putting on an absolute clinic, but I'm not going to say it's not helping, or I'm not saying that the guys behind him putting on the show may not be assisting him with stretching that lead out, but we still have to give him credit for being to stay onto the track and actually, to take the lead in the first place. As we see Kundinger almost spin out there, catches the car. We might see Dingler make up the spot here as we come to the white flag. Actually, this will be the checker for stage 2. I'm sorry.
Also, want to give a point out thanks to Nolan. He gave us a little bit of a history update, flashing it back to the clash on a Daytona road course back at the beginning of the season. If you want an idea just how fast Derek Roeleveld is, he actually won that race by 31 seconds, and that was a 20-lap race, so obviously he knows how to make these turns work, and right now he's proving it. He's putting on a clinic with a 5.2-second gap. As you saw, the fight almost heat up there for third. Contact was about made between Kundinger and Dingler, as Dingler's still trying to rebound from that first lap incident. So far, he's doing pretty well at it, holding up into the 4th spot, but up ahead, Roeleveld on a Sunday drive is making his way back down to the S's for the final time before he sees the green and white checkered once again.
Well, now that Nolan gave us the insight on that, I'm going to eat my words now, and I'm going to retract that statement, because I did not know that. So my apologies there to Derek. This man knows what he's doing on a road course. So sorry to discredit you with that, sir. He's going to come out of the final corner here, and he's going to sweep stage number 1 and stage number 2 in fashion. 6 seconds to the gap back. We're going to see what's going on with this battle for third.
It actually very much heated up. Just Joseph almost made contact. Cole Freilich is in fact going to take over second. Carter Kundinger going to take home third. Dingler in 4th. Holden McGill 5th. Joseph rebounds to 6th. Merrick Watchorn in 7th. Logan Hamilton will hold on to 8th. Jack B. Ryan should able to bring it home in 9th place. And it looks like it's going to be Nate Brooker in the number 3, who will come across the line to round out your top 10. And there is the caution flag. And now we'll wrap up stage number 2. Derek Roeleveld, your stage 2 winner here in Sonoma.
Derek Roeleveld, man, like I said before, didn't know the lead up that he won the Clash by 31 seconds in a 20-lap race. So definitely, like I said, this guy knows what he's doing, knows how to make these left and right turns. And like I said, sorry to discredit him with that, because I had no idea, but he's definitely he's making us learn today. That because he's definitely taken me to school for sure.
He's taking his whole field to school right now. He started second. It's just even more surprising. His qualifying lap was a 39.179 to Ryan Dingler's 38.807. So we can only imagine what this fight would have looked like if Dingler didn't have that incident. But with where it stands right now, Ryan might have a chance to actually bring it back up to the front of the field and possibly bring the fight back for the race lead. And if he does, then all bets are off on whose race this could be. Right now, Rolleveld proving that he knows his way around these road courses. Also, just how about Cole Freilich? For his first race, all the way back in 10th, he has currently ran it all the way up in second. Had that off-track incident that we've seen already. If you go off in that section, you hit that wall, it is basically night over for you. He kept it off the wall. Not only did he keep a hold of that car, he didn't lose a position and actually was able to gain a position in the end, as that Racing Nation TV car has been clean all night long. And the number 15 Chevrolet Camaro, it's just been smooth sailings with a little bit of incidents, but just an incredible charge by that number 15.
You can't forget the 0-2 of Carter Kundinger behind him, also making his first start. These guys up here, we mentioned rookies to the series, first start, and they are in our top 3. They're on the podium spot right now. Like, these guys are doing absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely, indeed, they are. Pitts Road should be open this time by now, as the field is officially bunched up. From here on now, we're going to go green all the way to the checkered flag when we go back racing, barring any cautions, which we have not seen at all here tonight. So we should be able to possibly go green for the final laps to bring it possibly to lap 45, a little bit over that. That is the advertised distance, but of course caution laps do not count. But because of some iRacing issues, even though you can set it to where caution laps do not count on the service, it was trapping some of the leaders a lap down, so they opted to count laps and just extend the race distance to allow the time, so that way drivers don't lose any spots on pit road or have issues where you could be in the lead and then fall one lap down because of a pit stop. But as the field makes its way now to turn number 10, we should see another round of green flag pit stops taking place here this time by.
But looking back here, I don't expect, anything different from the last time. These guys are going to take 4 tires, full tank, because they're going to be running, like we said, the remainder of the race. So they're not just going to have a 10-lap run. These guys still have about 25 laps left. So, they're going to be running under caution for a little bit, but, they're going to be burning up. They got to be saving these tires. So I think for a little bit, we might see some of these guys laying back a little bit and maybe not being so aggressive.
That could be the key to the race. We saw Joseph pulled that in the end of stage 1. He was holding on strongly there to about a 1.5 second gap, and then those final remaining laps, he really started to put that loud pedal down, and he was just closing that gap quickly to be able to hold on to that number 99, but sadly wasn't able to do anything to gain a spot, as now the field is making their way to their pit stalls. Dingler will assume the first pit stall, but now all eyes are going to be on Rolleveld and Freilich to see who will win the race off pit road. I would have to assume it will be Rolleveld, as now he jacks up the left sides already, and we will get to see the race off pit road. As here comes the 15 with the charge. He will hold on to second, but Rolleveld will easily win the race off pit road.
Yeah, no questions about that at all. Freilich pulls off second. Kundinger, I want to say his first and last name at the same time, gonna pull off in third, and I believe Holden McGill came out behind him in fourth. So I think the order stayed just about the same.
Just like stage number 1, I don't see really any big movers on the exit of pit road. Everyone really taking the 4 tires and fuel. So the only real chance that anybody would have gotten to gain positions would have been if, in fact, a driver had a slip up on pit road. But of course, that is not the case. However, we will have an opportunity to talk not to our stage 2 winner due to the fact that it doesn't look like he is in the Discord, so we don't have a chance to talk to him. But we will have a chance to talk to the number 15 of Cole Freilich as we try to drag him up here into the booth. Well, Cole, we raced a lot of Pro 2 trucks last night. You took a little bit of off-roading experience and had a little bit of excursion off in the exit turn 10. How has it been trying to tackle this road course to bring it home to P2 in stage 2?
Well, I don't have you in my way tonight, so it's a lot easier to do them off-road excursions. But yeah, I didn't think I'd ever be back on one of these broadcasts, but hello. Yeah, it's a little weird. I just kind of saw that we were road racing tonight, and I was like, well, figure I'll give her some Jandil and we'll try it out. And then just so happen to be in second place right now, so this is a bit of a new experience. I'm not usually too good on stock cars on road courses, but hey, we're managing.
In managing DGR, you now have 25 laps to try and maybe knock off Derek Wohleveld, who has been such a dominating factor in this race. What is going to be your goal on this restart? Because knowing you have the aggressive set in mind to try and take this race lead. What is going to be your strategy to try and possibly take over that top spot?
Same strategy I've been doing, just go like hell, pretty much.
All right, easy enough, I guess. Well, we're going to give you now one last chance to get set for this restart real quickly. Who do you want to give a shout out to for how your race has gone here tonight to put you up in second at the end of stage 2?
First off, I want to thank Dirt Vision for blaring in my ear the entire time I've been racing. Thanks to Kyle, because he's got his name on the car. Thanks to Joe, because I know he's watching. Joe's a very good man, very lovely man. And thanks to CFM Esports, because without them, these Chevys wouldn't be as fast.
All right, that's honestly quite one of the more interesting shots I've seen so far here tonight. Well, congratulations on P2. Hopefully, knowing you can put on a show for us here up in the booth to give us something to talk about, and we will talk to you hopefully more by the end of this race.
Yep, hope to see you guys later.
All right, that's going to be Cole Freilich in the number 15, finishing P2 in stage number 2. With that being said, the caution is again going to be extended to allow the field to catch up, and we should be going green next time, not this time by, but the time after that.
You know, I gotta agree with Cole on this. You know, it's always nice to have Joe Donahue around, and it's nice to know that he is not in the booth right now, but he's still interacting with us on YouTube. That's always good to see. So shout out to Joe. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're having a good night.
Yeah, Joe, always a really big supporter of all. If you're a friend of Joe's, he will support you 110%. He's been a big supporter of Piss Off TV, as well as being in the booth covering me for the Bluegrass iRacing Series on Wednesday nights. But obviously, with Cole being in the race, he has even much more incentive to want to watch this race as well. And what a show is he being treated to here tonight, as it looks like we might be able to squeeze in one quick commercial break to give us a little bit of chance to breathe, and then we'll be back here to bring you the final 25 laps of racing here at L-TAC here for Sonoma. Stay tuned with us. Do not go anywhere. You're watching Pit Stop TV.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to Pit Stop TV. We're coming up on the next restart for stage number 3, coming through the S's on the back part of this racetrack. Excuse me. We're doubling up. Derek Rolleveld still leading the race. Cole Freilich to his outside, going to be restarting second. Carter Kundinger in third. Holden McGill fourth. Joseph fifth. Coming up to the final portion here. We have got a race in store for you guys. We're going to have about 23 laps to go. When we go green, these guys are going to put on a heck of a show. They've done excellent tonight, and I'm ready to see what we're going. Pace cars in. We're going to wait for the green flag to be called here. Here we go. Field bunching up. Coming out. The green flag is waving. We're back green at Sonoma. Cole Freilich going to surge to the front. Will he clear Derek going into turn number 1? We're going to look here going up the hill. Doesn't look like he's going to do so. Going side by side up into turn number 2. They're still going to be side by side. Looks like Cole's going to clear him for the lead.
Cole, like he said, he's going to give her some jandle and step on it. And that is exactly what he's doing. He's going to clear him for the race lead, heading up there towards turn number 5. Rolleville going to be all over the back bumper. He's going to try and pull the crossover going into the infield section of the racetrack. Not going to be able to get the position. He's going to have to try and set him up for turn number 6. As here comes Kundinger in third, going to try and close the gap a little bit, as now that 3-car breakaway once again shaping up.
Looking back up to the front, we see Cole Freilich. He said his thing was to run like hell, he said. Well, he's running right now. He's gapped himself almost 0.4 of a second right now, going into turn 7 and turn 7A. He's got that lead right now, but Derek Rolleveld almost all over the back end. We're looking Kundinger all over the back end of that 99 machine as well. Joseph back in the mix, up into the top 5, looking right now from the back end of Cole Freilich. You see just the gap. He's there, but he's not quite there yet.
Cole Freilich now surging a charge to try and open up this race lead. Kundinger all over the back bumper of that number 99. Not able to do anything. Here comes Rolleveld with the run. Now coming up to turn number 11. Going to try and outbreak him. He will make the move. They're going to go side by side into turn number 11. Freilich takes a little bit of a wider entry. That's going to allow the number 15. And here comes Kundinger. He could spin as the 15 to make contact. We stay green. And Kundinger is going to fall all the way to the back of the field. Meanwhile, we stay green. Rolleville holds on to the race leader. Looks like they might make more contact. They will. The 52 now going to go around with the 46.
Depending on how it goes, we might have a... Oh, he kept it going there. Looks like we're going to be going green still here. Pretty hectic first lap there. That all started with Cole Freilich running just slightly wide into the final corner and just slight contact with Kundinger. And then we see all that right there unfolding. Props to these guys for not making a big incident making a bigger incident than it could have been. But nonetheless, through all of that, Derek Rolleveld back up front by over a second.
Now coming back up to the run towards turn number 7. Rolleveld with a strong race lead. The gap is now up to about 1.5 seconds. The 15 of Freilich trying to close on the gap as much as he can. Joseph up to third. Falling back there. And the number 20 Chevrolet Camaro as he set up for the S's. The big question is, can Freilich catch up, or will Joseph have an opportunity to take over second? Now all over the curves, going left, right, up to the uphill. Be very careful getting back on the throttle, because you can just as easily spin the tires on corner exit. Now making a run down to turns 8 and 9 into 10 as they set up for the ever challenging turn number 11. Joseph going to have the major run. Will he try to take the peak? He will. He's going to try to outbreak him just the way Rolleveld did. And now Joseph is going to lose it on braking. He's going to slide it and pull a little bit of a slide job on the corner exit. Now they're going to go side by side. Now Dingler losing control of the car. He's going to gather it back up. Will maintain his position back there in 5th.
That's going to bring Holden McGill up into the mix. All that right there slowed those guys down, allowed him to get up into the mix for the 3rd spot. They're bumper to bumper to bumper. Ryan Dingler, as you mentioned, Logan Hamilton, haven't heard much of him, and Jack Ryan right behind him as well.
They're fighting all over the place from second on back, which is exactly what we are used to seeing from how the race has gone. We have a wreck on further back that is going to involve Jack Ryan, a major stack up, also involving Ryan Dingler. Kundinger is going to be able to make his way through that wreck. He will gain a couple spots back up to 7th, but a major melee coming off towards turn number 4 and 5. We still stay green. Now here comes Jack Ryan, a little bit wide. He keeps it on the pavement as he's going to make the run back up to 7, but a very interesting scenario taking place on the final straight before the infield.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it's going to be pretty hectic. These guys are, they got 20 laps to go here about. You see the gap there from Derek Rolleveld back to Cole Freilich. You see it there, 3.5 seconds, and then you got about 0.6 of a second or so back, or excuse me, half a second back from Cole back to Joseph.
Joseph still holding on strong to the third. Cole Freilich holding his position in second as Holden McGill has rebounded up into the 4th position. How about the 12 of Logan Hamilton? We saw him have a little bit of an incident on the last start for stage number 2. He was involved in an incident with Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He has lost the nose of that number 12 machine, but he is still holding the pace and backing it down the hatches there in the 5th position, rather, as the field now making their way back up into turns number 2 as Freilich still trying to outrun the number 20.
Cole's going to be on his toes because as we saw, early on and what we're seeing now, Joseph has pace. He just needs to put, it's just like just any other road course or even an oval. You're fast in one section, you're good here, but you have that one portion of the track where you can't piece that lap together. We've seen Joseph, that beginning part of the lap isn't necessarily his best part. As we're looking Cody Meadows around in the middle of the racetrack, he actually does a perfect, I don't know if that was a 360 or a 720, not quite sure what that was, but he was able to get that going. Extra style points for that 46 machine to get that fired back up and going.
As now you're looking up towards the number 1 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who made another trip down pit road. Looks like he's going to get some service on the number 1 and bring it back out to try and salvage what positions he can. Cole Freilich, though, still holding on strongly to second, opening up a gap to the number 20 of Joseph. Right now, it doesn't look like a chance for the win is going to be within grasp for the number 15, unless a caution comes out. But if the trend continues with how we've had some of these wrecks and no yellow flag being thrown, I would assume we're going to go green to the end, unless there is just a parking lot taking place on the track. With how spread out it is now, I do not see that happening. So now Cole is going to have to either hope Rolleveld makes a very rare mistake, or he just has, honestly, one of the biggest charges that you could see out of a driver in iRacing. Now looking back again to the number 12 of Hamilton, just to show just how much damage has been done to that number 12 Ford Mustang. Now making the run up off of turn number 2 as they make their way down through the S's up to the uphill towards turn 5, as he is still rallying around this racetrack quite well for how damaged it is. But it's just impressive to see how well he's able to hold on to that car.
What's impressive as well is just seeing how much Derek Rolleveld is pulling away. He's got this lead up to 5 seconds. We referenced earlier, thankfully, Nolan could give us some insight on that. From the Clash, that was a 20-lap race, he said, and he won by 31 seconds. This lap, or the rest of this race, is going to be over a 20-lap run. So I'm curious to see, with how spread out this is, he's all by himself. How far can he stretch this out within the next 18 laps?
That is, in fact, going to be a very big question, because this, like you said, it's going to be the longest run that we've had under green flag conditions. We've had 2 10-lap stages. Now we're going to double that and then some, the 25 laps. Now looking on the onboard of Joseph, once again looking on the dash cam for the number 20 Chevrolet Camaro, still trying to do whatever he can to get around number 15 Chevrolet Camaro. His last lap was a 41.575, about a second off, over a second off what his fastest lap could have been, as the gap still just about 0.316 tenths of a second to number 15, as he is still holding on strongly to the third. He almost had a chance for the win to bring up the leaders, but right now it looks like the best he might be able to manage there is a second, but still he is really holding on well to number 15, but the 15 is just not letting off one bit.
Yeah, Cole is definitely not backing out of this at all. As you look there further on back, just behind Joseph, you got Holden McGill right back into the mix. He's always in the mix of these things, whether it's for the lead or not. He's always on camera. Taylor Butcher Benjamin back in pit road. We saw he came back down. We saw he was in pit road last time. Not quite sure what's going on. He might have some damage, but nonetheless, that puts him back into the 24th position. Back up front to this battle for second. Joseph still trying to run down Cole Freilich as we go down the drag strip heading into turn 7. He's not going to have the run for it yet. We got somebody running way wide right there. That is the 23. That's Frank Flores. Thankfully for him, he was able to stop. Looks like he's going to let all these faster guys go by, so he's not going to be that guy that get caught up in traffic. So smart on him to sit there and let these guys go through.
Yeah, very, very, very heads up driving by the 23. He realizes just how far off the pace he is, and rather than try and run up and stay in the way of anybody, he's going to pull off to the edge of turn 7, let the field go by, and possibly resume his race. However, the field now coming up at turn number 11. Here comes the fight again for the second spot. The number 28, Joseph, all on the toe of the number 15. Let's see if he can, in fact, get the pass done. Not going to be able to do it as Cole parks it on the inside. They will still hold the same positions they have, as Holden McGill now is starting to close the gap for the third spot, as second, third, and fourth are just all over each other right now.
You can see Joseph is almost giving Cole the bumper. I think he's starting to get a little impatient. You know, he's trying to get every position that he can. Looking here, he's trying to go to the inside. Might get it done, not quite sure. He's going to be on the right side going into the carousel here. Cole's going to hold that yellow line on the inside. Looks like he's going to hold it. Almost some more contact. Looks like Cole's going to pull it away here.
Cole just really holding his own with the leaders, not really able to get anything done to the lead of Derek Rolleveld, as these regulars are all over him, trying to do whatever they can to get around him, but just unable to do anything. Here comes Holden McGill. Holden goes for a ride. He's going to spin it down into the sand, and that is going to ruin the race for him. Thankfully, with how spread out the field is, he will be able to hold it in the top 10, but a heartbreak for the 21. He was trying to capitalize on a mistake made by the 28, Joseph, and instead he's going to fall all the way back to about the 8th position. So that is a very costly mistake for the 21, as we still, again, stay green.
For the replay to see what happened with Holden McGill. We're going to see there they are side by side coming into 7A, and just looks like a little bit of contact there with him and Joseph, and it just sends him right on around. No more contact than that. Didn't hit the wall, so he's able to keep the car pretty much clean. So thankfully for him, but heartbreak for Holden McGill. That's going to slot him back, I think, to about the 8th place. Back live here, looking at the battle for second once again. Cole Freilich, Joseph, now back almost 9 seconds, just a little bit over 9 seconds behind race leader Derek Rolleveld. So he's definitely pulling away here. Logan Hamilton with no front end, still making that car go, because he's not much farther behind these guys battling for second.
Yeah, still, just this fight for second is really the biggest fight on the racetrack, because the Cole Freilich going to go wide in 7. They're going to make contact much almost the same way Holden McGill did. They're not going to go around, however. They will maintain the positions that they have. Cole Freilich still up to second. Joseph still holding on to third, as Logan Hamilton peers back there in the 4th spot, as 9 seconds up the road because of all this is where you find that 99 of Derek Rolleveld. Where they are right now, Rolleveld is earning the hairpin. That's just how much of a gap he has to these leaders, as they have been fighting non-stop with each other, as we're approaching now the final 10 laps of this event.
Yeah, the final 10 laps, it's gonna be hectic. We thought it was hectic before. Logan Hamilton's still right on there. You see him, he's late onto the power. I don't know if that's just how much damage he's got or if he was taking it easy, because we saw Joseph get all squirrely right there because he has lost a lot of time on Cole.
Yeah, trying to lost a little bit of time there to the number 15 of Cole Freilich, but still able to hold on to the position he has, as these three have been all over each other this entire race. This has really been the fight of the races for second. Everywhere you look, second, third, fourth, and fifth has been brewing to have one heck of a fight. It's been like that the entirety of a race. It was first Joseph, then it was Cundinger, then it was now Cole's turn, as now you're looking back again at Brett Fisher, who seems to be having more issues. And then number 30 Ford Mustang gets the car rolling, currently running back in the 18th position as he comes across the line, as he is still trying to bring it to the finish in one piece, which is currently going successful. But obviously, with the maintaining issues he has, this is not the kind of run he wants to have. He's going to go off into the sand yet again as Cole Freilich runs wide off in turn number 7 up ahead. Now we finally have the switch for position, as now it is Joseph on the offense.
Yeah, Joseph, as we said, just sitting in the catbird seat. He looked to be very impatient. Oh, see, right there, impatience. That's what I'm talking about. This impatience by Joseph. You see he's being aggressive, and he's just overdriving. That's one reason why he lost the lead on lap 1 when he got it. He took it, overdrove going into the road course, or the interior part of the road course, excuse me. And now he's just overdriving. He's thinking too much about it. Now he might be overtaken by Logan Hamilton.
Logan Hamilton trying to capitalize, like we said, it's kind of been the same situation all around for drivers, like how it was for Joseph and Cundinger and Freilich were fighting on for second. Now how it is with Freilich and Joseph fighting for second. There's now Logan Hamilton, however, goes all the way off into the inside and hard contact with the concrete retaining walls off into the end, and that is going to bring heavy damage to number 12, as he's going to lose all that track position, and he's going to regain the track up in the 7th. But man, and more heartbreak going on here within the top 5.
We're going to get a replay of that right there so you guys can get a better view of what happened with Logan Hamilton. See him coming across the stripe, coming up through turns 1 and 2. Going up the hill here. Oh, I don't know if he just turned too far, or maybe his pedal got stuck. I'm not actually quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, just a very, very rough situation there for the number 12 coming up into the run of turn number 1. We talked about that. It's such a tricky corner, and it's so easy to go up in there and lose the back end of that car because of how hard you're on the brakes while steering to the left. And sadly, it has now bit the number 12, who's having such a good rebound. As you look on the onboard of that number 12 of Logan Hamilton, making a run up under the bridge, hard under the brakes, try to get it back down as much as you can, but sadly, maybe a little bit of wheel hop could have also been to blame for that as well. But regardless, it's a very, very rough ride into those Jersey barriers off into turn number 2.
Looking back now, received word that it was actually a technical issue. Looks like his screen froze. Received word there, his screen froze, which is kind of see why he didn't really do anything there. So, obviously, don't really encounter those issues in real life, but something on the simulation such as iRacing or any other platforms, some things we can't really help. And unfortunately, Logan Hamilton falling victim to such circumstance, but he still slots himself in 7th place right now.
Still holding on strong to a 7th place finish. Just how spread out this field is, where you can have incidents like that, but you still can able to hold on to a top 10, which is kind of just proves how important these restarts are. If you're able to hold on there to the top 10, you can keep pace with the leaders. You can afford to make mistakes like this and still have a strong top 10 run. Again, looking at the fight on for second as they make their way out of turn number 6 up to the run to 7, on board out of the back end of the CFM Esports, Cole Freilich, as he gets onto the sand. He's going to lose it a little bit. Now we're have a drag race up to 7 as Joseph going to try and outbreak him here up to 7A. They're going to go side by side. Cole Freilich will let him by, but he's going to maybe possibly try the crossover on corner exit as they make the run now back towards the S's.
Merrick Watchhorn down on pit road. Not quite sure. I think he may have just stopped to get some tires, because he was actually, looks like he's slotted in the 17th spot right now. Back up front, Derek Roeleveld pulled his lead up to over 12 seconds now, coming to 12 laps to go this time by. And he is just pulling away, because the last time I mentioned it, I think he was at 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, the last time we talked about him, he was running about a 7th or 8th second gap, but because of just how insane these two have been racing each other, it has cost them almost 4 seconds, as now the gap is almost over 13 seconds. That's just how fast that number 99 car is, as his last lap was actually a 43.9. The last lap for Joseph was a 44.1. So where it stands right now, he's actually possibly getting about a second a lap, which is just how fast he is compared to these two. Because these two are fighting and losing so much time trying to keep up with each other. Derek has just been able to maintain his pace and just run the rhythm that we talked about earlier. Just how much of a rhythm track it is. When you figure out the rhythm that you need to make it around this course, you do it lap after lap after lap, it pays off, and you can just run away with this.
Yeah, and he's definitely showing running away with the victory for sure. Obviously, not having these full course yellows are not helping out the rest of the field. But, if I'm Derek Roeleveld, I'm loving that, because, he just gets to take it and run. And these guys battling right here, Cole Freilich still trying to get up to it. You see Frank Flores right there. He's trying to give these guys as much room as possible. We saw him go off the racetrack a little bit to let traffic go through. So props to him. Very heads up, respectable move by Frank here. He's going to stay as far to the left as he can to let these faster guys go.
I think if there was a gentleman of the race award, it would probably go to the number 23, because, he is so far off the pace. He is currently running 2 laps down, only back at 23rd, and he's just getting out of the way as much as he can. He's still running his race, going to take the points that he can to make it through this race, but still he has just been on it and being so considerate of all the leaders to allow us to have the fights that we have. So a big shout out to the number 23 of Frank Flores for all that he's done for these leaders in this race to make it an interesting fight. Still, though, up at the front, Derek Roeleveld still holds on to a strong, healthy 14-second lap lead, as now, again, Cole Freilich and Joseph, we've talked about him ever since the green flag came back out. These two are still all over each other as they make the run up to 6 now. Joseph finally has cleared up, and it looks like he might be able to set off a pace to try and open up a gap, if barring he makes any mistakes, as he goes wide off on the exit of turn number 6, which is going to allow Cole again to have a run, and the fight is still not over. Just when you think it's over, right there, you see the gap now closing up, as Cole is maybe going to try and outbreak him. Instead, he's going to fall back in line, and we may be able to see this fight take place through the S's once more.
You see Kevin Franks right up there in front of Joseph and Cole, so they'll be catching up to him very shortly, but not further on back, not much further on back, about less than 3 seconds. You see Ryan Dingler back there, the 04 of Curtis Martin. Got a little bit squirrely in the final corner. We got some cars coming down pit road, getting some tires. We got the 92, that is Barrick Uphold, coming out of the pits there. Looks like we got the 3 Nate Brooker also coming out, currently sitting 19th across the stripe that time by. So these guys coming through the latter half of the field. These guys are, I believe laps, maybe a lap down, not quite. Actually, no, these guys are on the very tail end of the lead lap, excuse me. Looks like we got the 8. Ryan Dingler is into pit road. So, that's something I didn't expect to see some of these guys do. Are we going to see some of these front runners come up to pit road? Looking at the 49 right now of... That is Anthony Musatti, excuse me. He's currently running in the 13th spot.
He actually started all the way up in 8, so he's currently holding a pretty steady position to where he started. Again, looking at the leaders on pit road, Holden McGill pitting from a top 10 spot, as well as Logan Hamilton. I believe, in fact, these drivers also have a fast repair, which is why you're maybe seeing the 12 have the damage fixed on his machine, now having a new nose put on that car. As you're now looking at Colin Stone in number 43, now looking at Jack Ryan as well, came in the pits 8th. Now Cody Meadows. Now, as more and more of the leaders are going to make these pit stops, we're now within the final 10 laps. So from here on out, we're going to have a regular stage race. What we've seen, those 10 lap stages that we saw in stage 1 and stage 2, now that's going to be the run to the checker. The Sean Deal comes down pit road, surrendering the 19th spot. As now here comes probably the most important pit stop of the race, as now Derek Rolleveld makes his way into pit road.
Derek Rolleveld just got to make sure he doesn't speed here. He's got to have, just a solid pit stop here. Don't miss your box, hit your marks, and don't speed. 14 seconds, yeah, that's a lot. But if he speeds, gets that penalty, it's over.
Also following him in now, Joseph, and Cole Frelick, and now all the top 3 within pit road. Carter Kundinger, I believe, is already up. He's also making the long trek down pit road. Eyes are not going to be on Ryan Dingler, as he is making his way through the S's now down to turn number 10. You see the right side's already jacked up on that number 99, and off and away he goes. A smooth pit stop is going to take place for the 99. Now eyes are going to be on Cole Frelick and Joseph, who's going to have the better pit stop. Frelick now on the left side. The jack about to drop right there, hard on the throttle. He's going to exit pit road. Joseph is going to beat him out, so Joseph will maintain the second spot as Cole Frelick still holds on the third.
As you see there, the gap remains the same, about 14 seconds thereabouts from Rolleveld to Joseph. Ryan Dingler about 2 seconds behind Cole Frelick, so he definitely made up a little bit of time to these guys. So I expect we might see him actually come up into the second spot since his tires are up to temp.
Now we're going to see some hot laps being set out here by the 99. Now he has a fresh set of boots on his feet as he makes his way up to 7 and 7A. Now trying to get these tires, like you said, back up to temp, get some grip back in these tires, and then just try to maintain the gap that you have and run it all the way back to the end of this race. But like you said, with these new tires also brings a new challenge. You're so used to running on these worn tires. Now you have a whole lot more grip under you. So you got to be a lot more careful with how you wheel around this course, because tire spin is now just creeping on you little by little if you make those one slight mistakes. Now looking back with the leaders, I believe Dingler did in fact stay out, so he is still on the same tire. So that is why you're seeing that fight for second, third, and fourth as close as it is right now. So either going to be on number 8 to see when he comes down period as they corner the way through turn number 10 up to 11, as Joseph now checking out with that second place position.
Actually, Dingler pit the lap before them, so he made up that time while they were in pit road. So he's just on 1 lap fresher tires than these guys, or older tires, than these guys.
So he in fact actually pulled an undercut. So he caught these guys sleeping. He pulled on a pit road a lap ahead, and he gained all that time back. But now the question is going to be, how much is that going to affect him? As he actually sets the fastest lap of the race, a 38.810, which is almost as fast as his pole lap. So you can see there, he is really putting the throttle down to try and gain back the positions. Had to catch a lap car in a very missed opportune corner, completely missing apex. That's going to cost him a little bit of time as he tries to catch up to the leaders. But Cole Frelick is actually starting to close the gap down to the 20 again.
That was Ryder Schrauf, the slow car on the left side of the screen there. But on board with Ryan Dingler, now on board with Joseph, looking back out of that rear window, back to Cole Frelick. You see it's about 1.3 seconds back to Cole, but Cole's trying to get back into the mix of things here. We saw earlier on a run, Cole wasn't really able to get under fire that quick. So maybe in the latter half of this run, he'll be back up there, but I expect Dingler to get back up into this mix as well, because we just saw he just ran the hottest lap of the race, and he's definitely coming for that second place finish.
Yeah, second place really looking like it's going to be possible here for the race for Joseph. He has been able to finally get around Cole Frelick, and now with the fresh tires, he should be able to just run away with this. But still, just an impressive job by Cole Frelick to hold on to the third spot with where he is. He started back in 10th, his first race ever in this league, and he has just been on an incredible debut here in this series. against a lot of these regular competitors like Daimler and Joseph and Rolleveld.
Yeah, especially, Cole, yeah, as you mentioned, you're putting on a heck of a show tonight. Kundinger, excuse me. Definitely putting on a heck of a show too. Obviously, we saw he had that little mishap where he got spun earlier on, I believe, after contact with Cole, but he rebounded, still in the top 5. Regulars like Holden McGill, Logan Hamilton, sitting behind some of these rookies. So these guys are definitely showing that they know how to get it done here. But also, some of these regulars are also showing, some of these guys, hey, we know how to get it done too.
Yeah, he's been really able to hold on, and this has just been a very clean race throughout most of the night. These guys have just put on an absolute incredible performance. Now looking back at 10th place of Merrick Watchhorn, as he is currently trying to chase down the number 9 of Colin Stone as they make the run up to turn number 6. Now hard on the brakes, going to make the run down to carousel. Have to wait for the right time to punch that throttle to get back on it, to get the run up to turn 7. He's going to close the gap a little bit as they make the run up towards 7 and 7A, one of the hardest braking zones on the track alongside turn 11, as now they get set for that final downhill run to complete this lap. Now making the run back down through the S's, through 5, 6, through 8, 9, and 10. Now gonna go up to back up that uphill section. Look at the onboard there with Watchhorn as he makes the run now down through this left-hander. It's so easy to slide through this, but it's also one of the fast sections that leads right back into this. Those are 2 corners that you can easily slide the rear tires on and have almost an off-track excursion, much like how Watchhorn had. Now looking back at the number 2 of Jack Ryan, holding it steady in the 12th spot, trying to fight off Cody Meadows, as Meadows going to be hard on the brakes to try and maybe get the pass done, not be able to do it as they both run wide, so they're going to be able to hold onto each other as those 2 AOD racing machines now going to have a little bit of a race heading up into turn number 1, as Ryan still holding on strongly to that 12th position as he is 5 seconds away from Jeremy Berger, who is running up in the 11th spot up ahead.
Yeah, battles heating up all over the racetrack. If there's not a battle for the lead, obviously we've seen that battle, or I say the battle, but the gap to the lead is over 8 seconds. So, they've knocked it down from 14 to about 8. Looking here, Meadows going to the inside of Jack Bryan. Is he going to get it done here? Not quite, but very, very tight racing going on. Whew. Yeah,
that's kind of the best expression you can have there. Just everywhere you look, there's been a fight brewing on a racetrack, but there's also a little bit of development taking place up here with the race leader. Well, we talked about it, that 17-second gap that Derek Rolleveld has been having for most of the race. It is actually dwindling because he has backed off the pace and just kind of running his race. He knows that he doesn't really need to push it that hard, but here's something to keep in mind. His last lap was a 42.746. Compare that to number 20 of Joseph, who had ran almost 3 seconds faster with a 39.962. So Derek really needs to be on his game right now, because while yes, you're able to afford to do this to where you can run your pace and not have to push it that hard, that gap is dwindling fast, and it's allowing Joseph to tear it into the lead. And just as well as I do, he's more than likely going to have that relative. He's going to see that lead dwindling, and he is pushing that car as hard as it can go to try and have a shot at this win.
Oh, absolutely. Joseph has been on an absolute tear. He's been on one. He's on fire. He's trying to get that win. He's been so close. He missed it last week, but I think a couple thousandths of a second. Photo finish side by side. I thought he had it. I remember last week watching. I literally screamed because I thought he had it. He was my pick last week. And then he missed it, came up short. Had opportunity to be up front today. Just a little bit of impatience, I think. Or maybe just a slight mistake. I'm not quite sure. But regardless, second place is still a win. As long as he's consistent and can keep doing this week in and week out, he's going to be a contender for this championship.
that is all that really matters. You can have all the wins in the world that you want, but the number one thing that's going to win you championships within these NASCAR Cup Series, even with the old playoff format, is consistency. You win championships based on your best average finish, and with the regular season being the way that it is, that is the number one way you can boost your way in the point standing. So while yes, a win is so enticing to want to take home, you want to get that win sticker, you want to get that trophy, but the number one thing that's really going to matter is keeping it consistent, and a second place finish is going to really do you good in that regard. Now looking back again to Ryan Dingler, currently running up in the 4th spot, trying to hold off Carter Kundinger in the number 02, making her way back into the interior part of the field. The last lap for Kundinger was a 40.7. The last lap for Dingler was a 42.3. So 2 seconds about the distance between these two, and they were right over each other. So watch out for Kundinger, because he can easily be right on that back bumper. We can see a pass here for the 4th spot brewing here in just a second.
When you talk about being the distance and gaps and times, the gap to the lead has gained up about another 2 seconds. Rolleveld back up onto race pace to where he's almost gapped Joseph back up to 9 seconds.
Yeah, he might have been watching the broadcast and he heard me call him out there for how much of a lead he was losing, because now he is back on that throttle back. The last gap for the last lap time by was about a 7.953. The gap has now stretched up to almost another second. So, well, not really, about a couple of tenths have been gained there, but still, Rolleveld is really starting to bring the pace back within a number 99. Let's see what his last lap time was, a 40.268. So still about a consistent lap compared to that of the 20 of Joseph. Joseph will come across the line. His last lap time is going to be a 41.348. So those tires that those leaders had might have finally fallen off a cliff. You're going to see the pace start to back up, because now they're both now above the 40 lap mark, as the 40-second mark. Now looking back up to Logan Hamilton, up there in the 7th position, still rebounding. I believe he's a fast repair on the last pit stop, and now he is within a position to maybe get a 6th place from Holden McGill as they make the run up towards turn 6 and 7 once again. As again, just a fight's brewing all over for the top 10, as now we're within the final 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, the final laps dwindling down. We mentioned, we always say, I like to say, as Trey Shuttlesworth says, it's always about attrition, especially in these long races. The attrition coming with Logan Hamilton here, just staying through. We saw him driving, was basically driving a modified through here. Was able to keep that car on track, didn't have required repaired somehow. Kept that going, got that fast repair. And he's running in the top 10, 7th place right now. Looking on board, Carter Kundinger trying to run down to get that 4th spot from Ryan Dingler. I mean, he can still get it done. He's got pace. We've seen him all race. Gets a little bit loose there. Jeremy Berger slow on the racetrack. Not sure. He's got some damage on that car. I don't know if he went off and hit the wall or not, but definitely off the pace right now.
Yeah, very much off the pace. Just trying to bring it home in one piece and take the finishing position he has. He's currently holding on to an 11th place position with about a 10-second gap to Merrick Watchhorn there for the 10th spot. So not really much there to fight for in regards. Just kind of bring it home to the position that you have and take the points that you can and move on to next week. Now looking again at the number 02 of Carter Kundinger, who is still trying to close that gap down to Ryan Dingler, your pole sitter from today. As that fight, those two have been brewing for the last couple of laps. They haven't really been able to get a move done on one another, but still they have been near each other the entire time of this entire last run to the checkered flag, because where it stands right now, if one of these two make a mistake, there's going to be the other one behind in the pounds to take that spot away.
Absolutely. These guys are all over each other right now, and it's good because that's really the closest battle on track right now that we see, in the top 10, other than that battle between Watchhorn, and Stone. They got about 0.7 of a second, but these guys right here are bumper to bumper. That battle that we've been watching between Joseph and Cole Freilich, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, really much those two of them were fighting the entire race. The fight has kind of dwindled off. Both of those guys still holding on to a consistent gap, but not really been able to do much in terms of fighting for that 2nd place spot, however. All the way back there, though, you're looking at 7th and 6th as McGill and Hamilton still really brewing to bring up a fight there for the 6th position, making the run down towards turn number 10 as we approach for the 2 to go mark, which is incredible to think about. This race has gone by so quickly with how much these guys have been fighting lap after lap after lap, and where it stands right now, if Roloville can hold on, he will easily sail to a victory here in the L-TAC Cup Series to strengthen his chance for a championship.
Absolutely. I can't even like really say words right now. Oh, he almost gives him the bumper. This is getting really, really enticing and tight right now. Or the battle is enticing. Contact or car off in front. Not quite sure who that was right there. As Dingler goes off track right there, that allows Kundinger to slot himself right there. Oh man, that's not what he wanted to do.
That is not what he wanted at all. That is going to be a very, very costly mistake. He made his run up towards turn number 5. He went off into the sand, and that's going to cost him all that track position. Now he's going to fall back to 5th. The fight, though, for 2nd, we talked about him backing off. I think Cole may have heard us, and now he's bringing it back. He is, like he said, on the end of stage 2. Give her some Jandal, and heck yeah, he is sending it down the S's, and he is really starting to bring the fight there. And with 1 lap to go, he might have a shot there for a 2nd place in his first outing here in the L-TAC Cup Series.
Just as, oh, what a catch. You see him right there. He almost looped that car. Did a heck of a job catching it. Didn't really lose that much time. Lost a couple tenths. But the rate he's going now, he might be able to make that back up.
Yeah, really, really close. Might have been able to catch it back up. However, the white flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Sonoma. Roloville making a run up the hill towards turn number 2. Now making up to the downhill towards 3. As now his last lap with a 42.444, he has a 9-second gap, which just tells you he lost about almost over 10 seconds over the course of this run, and he has gained almost 4 on the older tires. So just an incredible job by him. He has held that car clean throughout the entire race. It is going to end with a checkered flag if he can keep it on track. And now you look again back towards McGill and Hamilton as they are still fighting there for the 6th position.
That 6th position battle is getting really, really tight. Logan Hamilton catching all those curves, getting as much as he can. Here we go, going into the corner. They're going to be side by side. Not quite sure. Holden McGill going to go way wide out here. Looks like he's going to have it going into the carousel right here. Still side by side as we go down, or actually going to the carousel right now, excuse me. Going through that sideways, Logan Hamilton. Going into turn 7, but further up ahead, going through the S's, Derek Roloveld about to win this race, but looking here, we're not going to go away from this battle. It's too close to even go away from.
Now coming back down the S's, but looking back at the leader. He started up in P2. He has capitalized on the mistakes made by others, and he has absolutely dominated and ran away, coming to the checkered flag to claim his first victory of the season. Derek Roloveld wins it here in Sonoma. And now the run up towards the 6th place. Here they come as Holden McGill holding strongly on to the 6th spot. It's going to be the last chance for Hamilton. He makes a dive down into the hairpin. They're going to touch. Can they hold on to it? They still side by side, banging door to door, and they're both going to spin. Holden McGill goes around. He's going to lose it, and Logan Hamilton will get the spot. Holden's going to slam that throttle, try to maintain the position that he has. He will bring it home in 7th. What a finish to this race.
I expected the send, but I thought they were going to get through that together and have a drag race off the corner. But nonetheless, right there, oh my goodness, he got the spot. I was honestly expecting one of the, what was it? It was Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart, I think, right? That last lap.
Denny Hamlin.
Or Denny Hamlin, not Carl Edwards, excuse me. I don't know why I said Carl Edwards, but yeah, I was just expecting something like that. Ooh, almost contact there. But well-deserved, dominant victory. Derek Roloveld. I mean, 52 of 53 laps led. There's 53 laps on the board. Led 52 of those. Absolute domination.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to describe what we witnessed here tonight. When he took that lead, he ran away. There was really no touching him. No one really was able to bring the fight. We saw a couple challengers out of Joseph and Cole Fralick, but and also Ryan Dingler, because Ryan was honestly probably the favorite to win it with the pace that he had in qualifying. But with the mistakes that those drivers made, there is Roosevelt just to capitalize on it. And just like how he did at Daytona in the Clash on the road course, he just straight up dominated here tonight. And now he's going to have the opportunity to burn it down here along the front stretch, as he is going to celebrate this victory in style.
You see Derek Roosevelt burning it down, started second, dominated the race after an early mistake by Ryan Dingler, wins by a margin of victory of 8.8 seconds, burning it down here at Sonoma.
It's just an absolute incredible job being done there by the number 99 of Derek Roosevelt to wrap it up here in Sonoma. With that being said, though, I believe we're going to take a quick commercial break to wrap it up here. And then when we come back, we will have an opportunity to talk to our top three and then wrap it up after an incredible race here at Sonoma. Stay tuned. Again, you're watching Pit Stop TV's live coverage here from Sonoma.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pit Stop TV's live post-race coverage here of round 4 of the L-TAC Cup Series. We were just able to spectate what was an incredible hard-fought 45-lap endurance, and with that, we have a winner to talk to, with that being the number 99 of Derek Roosevelt. We're going to try and get him into the booth to start our interviews. Well, Derek, I think the easiest way to describe your night was just straight up domination. You led all but one lap. Just how does it feel to get your first win this early in the season?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, it was a close battle there, especially early on, and the restarts weren't the greatest for me there. But I had a good car and good patience there, and was able to just kind of drive away from everybody, which was good. It was such a good feeling.
Well, you started up there in second, and on every single restart, it seemed like anybody who was lined up alongside you knew what you needed to do and was trying to stay in front of you, and you were able to capitalize on the mistakes. What was it like trying to fend off these restarts with how many drivers were trying to get around you?
Yeah, definitely a bit nerve-wracking, because it's definitely tough to hold guys. That's one of the things with road courses, is track position is everything, where you need to be in front. So they did a great job. The various guys that started beside me, because like I said, I didn't get the greatest jump. They got their car positioned well, but I kind of knew a bit of patience, and I was able to pass guys back as they ran wide, or I knew the points at certain corners where I could make some attempts to get back by them.
Absolutely, and we know Nolan kind of informed us because I don't believe we were here for the clash, but you were, with that being on the Daytona road course, we came in here unknowingly knowing how well you run on these road courses. Just kind of give us a perspective on how you're able to tame not only like the Daytona road course, which is hard on its own in a stock car, but as well as Sonoma. Just how is it trying to tackle a heavy stock car like this around these sweeping corners that are introduced here on the California hillsides of Sonoma?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, you could tell by the lap times and me not even getting the pole there. I kind of messed up qual a bit, although the pole sitter did get a great lap. Like you say, it's a really tough. You really got to hit your marks. You got to brake early. You got to be gentle with that brake. You got to be gentle with the throttle. Sonoma is definitely a different beast than the Daytona road course, where you're flat out a lot more at Daytona. Here, you're barely ever getting that throttle to full 100% because of how twisty it is.
And with that being said, you get your first one of the season. Obviously, with racing being a team sport, I would assume you have a couple people in mind you want to thank. So I'm going to let you have the floor here to give thanks to all the people who allowed you to get this win here tonight.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank my team, AOD Racing. You know, it's been a lot of fun racing you guys so far this season, and I hope our great results continue here. You know, especially Zach and Jack have been running with me every week, and now Cody has also joined us, and he's going to be running. And Carter tonight was pushing me as well. I was thinking he might actually have the car to beat, but I guess I got lucky in that I was the better car today.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your first win of the season. Congratulations on an absolutely dominating performance, and hopefully we get to see more out of you for the rest of the season and get to talk to you quite a bit more as we get close to the cutoff.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, that's going to do it for your race winner, Derek Oliveld. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Trey Patton, who should have our runner-up, Mr. Joseph.
Man, Joseph, I picked you last week. You finished second. I picked you this week. You finished second. It's got to be a little bit of a heartbreak to finish second twice in a row, but consistency is where it is. Just talk us through tonight. You had the pace. You just didn't have it right there at the end. Just talk us through tonight how to go for you.
Yeah, I thought I had something for the 99. I was definitely pretty competitive today. I put a lot of practice in, and we definitely had the speed. I think I closed the gap like 4 seconds on the last run, but I had pace on the longer run, and I was able to close the gap a lot. But I lost the track position, so it's difficult to pass at road courses. Not a lot of space, and yeah, I just lost the track position. I could never get back up.
Talk us through the battling back and forth with Cole and Carter and, Ryan at first. Ryan on that first lap, overran going up the hill, and then you took the lead, and then obviously, overran a little bit. But you and Cole were back and forth, trading blows, trading spots the entire race. Just how fun was that rather than, maybe just leading, being how Derek was, just checked out?
I mean, it was kind of a bit frustrating for me because I was definitely faster. I could definitely close the gap. I just couldn't get around, I wasn't able to get around at all. So I was just trying to be clean, but I was considering using the bumper, but I still wanted to be clean though. So, but yeah, it was frustrating. We kind of gave away the win, any shot at it, but it was still fun and entertaining.
Well, you guys put on an absolute show for us. Man, you're being consistent. You're putting the practice in. It's showing. And I think from now on, you're going to be you've been my pick the last 2 weeks. You finished second. I think you're going to be my pick going on forward. You're going to get a win this season. You're doing an absolute heck of a job. And before I let you go, we're going to let you have the floor. Shout out anybody you want, man.
Honestly, I want to thank out you guys in the broadcast. I want to thank the league owners for putting on great races. All the competitors. It was a blast, this race. Honestly, it went better than I expected. I thought it was going to be a wreck fest since it's a road course, but it was actually pretty clean. And, the the practice races are incredible. I learned a lot from going around behind Ryan Dinger. During a practice race we had, I was able to sit behind him and I learned the ropes kind of this track, and I was able to hook it up and had tons of speed.
Well, you definitely had a lot of speed tonight. Hopefully you can carry this momentum into next week, and hopefully we'll be talking to you then.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night, man. That's our second place finisher, Joseph. I'm going to send it back over to Noah for third place finisher, Cole Freilich.
Well, I now have the opportunity to again talk to the driver of the number 15 Racing Nation TV, Chevrolet Camaro, Cole. When I talked to you at the end of stage 2, you said your goal for the stage was to give her some jandal and send it, and I would honestly assume that is absolutely what you did with how much of a fight you put on there. Just how is it in your first ever outing here in the L-TAC Cup Series, not only to bring it home in a good finishing position, but to bring it home third?
I say I'm not good at this road racing stuff. Apparently I lied to myself, but yeah, we gave her some good old jandal, and I may have gave her too much jandal because that last lap I was just all over the place. I looked like I was doing Formula Drift out here. But hey, I had the secret talent of that. But yeah, it was a good day. Sorry to the 46 who had turned on lap 1, but I mean, I tried coasting the corner, had nowhere to go, ran over him. But yeah, after that, I kind of just slowly started crawling my way up, found myself in the lead at one point, and I just I was talking to Joe Donahue, who's usually on here, and I was like, Joe, I'm in the lead. I don't know what to do now, so. Yeah, it was a fun race all in all, and Joseph gave me a run for my money there.
Absolutely, you guys had honestly one of the best fights on the racetrack all race long. What was it like trying to fend off that 20 machine to try and take home a second place finish here in your first start?
It was actually pretty hilarious because there'd be one corner I'd finally get some edge on him, and then I'd blow it and go 10 feet wide over to Canada. And then he'd get the spot from me, and then he'd go off. So we kind of just kept doing that. And I got to the point I was laughing so hard I couldn't see straight. But yeah, it was good. And these guys are actually a lot better quality than a lot of people give them credit for. I know I used to broadcast them, and they were always top notch, and they're top notch still to this day.
With that being said, though, can we expect to see more out of you to be more of a regular season competitor, or do you plan on running maybe a part-time schedule for the rest of the year?
I think we'll do a bit of a part-time, run a couple short tracks, maybe run the super speedways if there's any left, and if we have any more road courses left, I'll probably definitely be there. But yeah, I don't want to be like full-time anything right now. I just kind of want to keep things on a part-time basis. So it'll be sporadic appearances for the 15.
All right, well, with that being said, like I said to Derek, everybody is a team sport, so you obviously have some people you want to thank, so I'm going to give you the floor to give some shout-outs here to end your night.
Yeah, I want to thank Kyle Cuthbertson, putting Racing Nation TV on the car. I don't have their logo on the car yet, but the Rain Race podcast, they're going to be on the 15 here soon, so thanks to those guys. Joe Donahue, once again, great man, great strategist. Andrew Brodsky for fielding the CFM entries, and yeah, CFM, great team. Happy to be a part of it, and they just provide us with good Chevrolet Camaros.
All right, well, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight. Congratulations on a great race overall, and enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully we get to see some more of you here later in the season.
All right, well, hopefully I get to race you later tonight, Noah.
We'll see. All right, well, that's gonna do it here for our post-race interviews here for the L-TAC Cup Series. With that, just overall, just an incredible race, top to bottom, all race round, and just we're going to take a quick look now at your post-race finishes, what we believe to be currently the unofficial results. As we talked about, Derek Rolleveld going to take home P1 after a dominating performance. Joseph going to round it off in second. Third place going to go to number 15, Cole Freilich, with Carter Kundinger bringing it home in fourth. Ryan Dingler, a pole sitter, going to rebound and bring it back to fifth. Logan Hamilton going to bring it home in sixth. Holden McGill is going to have to settle for seventh after that last lap spin with the hairpin. He's going to bring it home seventh. Anthony Musati is going to bring it home in eighth. Merrick Watchhorn is going to bring it back to the checkers in ninth. And then Colin Stone will round out your top 10.
Eric Uphold finishes 11th. Cody Meadows, after having a few spins, comes home 12th. Jack B. Ryan finishes 13th. Nate Brooker 14th. Grant Peterson 15th. Curtis Martin 16th. First car one lap down. Brett Fisher finishes 17th. Kevin Franks 18th, Robert Pattengale 19th, and Sean Deal rounds out our top 20.
Looking on back 20th to the end, we're going to look at the number 97 of Jeremy Berger. Finishing 22nd is going to be the number 17 of Dylan Breton. Finishing 23rd, again, give a shout out to number 23 of Frank Flores. Was a big heads-up driver the entire race and was able to get out of the way, so big shout out to him. 24th, you're going to find a 58 of Ryder Schrauf. Finishing 25th is going to be number 1 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. 26th, you're going to find a 10 of Zach Arnold. 27, you're going to find a 95 of Robert Mathis. And finishing in P28, last on the field, is going to be the number 333 of James Vinning. And with that, that'll wrap up the post-race results. But quickly, want to give one more quick shout-out to all our partners here on Pit Stop TV. First off, going to give another shout-out to the wonderful people over at Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Provide the image you want. We will custom create a beautiful framed, high quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional information. Also, be sure to use the promo code PitStopTV at checkout and receive 10% off your purchase. Also want to give a shout out to Race Pace. Ever wished you could have a racing engineer on speed dial? Well, now you can. Thanks to Race Pace, a driver development service and setup shop all in one. Work with Tyler, a real-world race engineer, to set up your game before your next race. Pick up pace with Race Pace. Permanent makeup in Cryo and Maine. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup in Cryo and Maine, the owner, Ashley Bullier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup in Cryo and Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give Permanent Makeup in Cryo and Maine a call today to book a consultation. Lastly, another shout out to Whiplash Media, Pit Stop TV's new parent organization. Whiplash Media specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to whiplash-media.com for more. With that being said, that will conclude our post-race coverage here after an incredible 45-lap event here for the L-TAC Cup Series. Trey, we were able to witness one heck of a show. What closing thoughts do you have to bring to the table to describe how tonight was?
You know, honestly, going into tonight, I was expecting a show. Like, I didn't know what kind of show. I didn't know if it was going to be good. I didn't know if it was going to be, kind of mediocre, or if it was just going to be one of those blow your socks off kind of show. And it was in the mix of blow your socks off in some mixes, because some of the battles we got to see, some of the people we got to see up front, we didn't know how Cole was going to do tonight. Joseph, mentioned he did a lot of practice. It showed. He had a lot of pace. And Derek Rolleveld, I did not see that coming at all. These guys put on an absolute show. Like I said, now and even during the race, I don't really have a lot of words for it, just because they exceeded my expectations. They did an absolute heck of a job, and I'm ready to see how the rest of the season goes, because it's got me pretty pumped up.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to try and watch it. Obviously, I was in here this weekend to cover for Eric Brennan, who usually leads these broadcasts, but sadly he had to sit out this week after having a little bit of LASIK surgery. So he should be back next week to take back the reins here up at the booth. But I'll be sure to watch, because if this is anything like we expect the rest of the season, I'll be sure to try and catch all of that. But with that, that's going to conclude our coverage tonight of the L-TAC Cup Series at Sonoma. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to join us Monday night for the VRP iRacing Series Big Blocks at Knoxville and a Pacific Challenge GT3 Series at another California course out at Laguna Seca. Tuesday night, we continue the coverage of Operation E Motorsports action at Virginia International Raceway, followed by the Bluegrass iRacing Series at another road course in Watkins Glen, before the L-TAC Cup Series heads up north to the famed Milwaukee Mile. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/pitstoptv. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at pitstoptv_, and on Twitch at pitstop_. at pit_stop_TV. And be sure to follow us on YouTube by just searching the term Pit Stop TV1. For all Pit Stop TV, Trey Patton with me on the mic, Emerson Ardon behind the scenes, Trey Shuttlesworth on social media to bring you those beautiful pictures and updates of the race. I'm Noah Carmichael. Thank you, and we will see you next time.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.